Let's begin.
Yes, hello.
Hello, welcome to Counterintelligence and our second episode talking about Cosmoflot.
Yep. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I actually had the opportunity to try Kosmoflot for the first time, and so now I'm an expert.
Yeah.
Know all the tricks and all the tools. So
You have all of one game under your belt.
Oh yeah. I have 0% win rate so far.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've played some more of it. Haven't played anything in N5, just speculated with you about lists. But I played a lot of it in N4. So I think I know a little bit of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, to some degree, I feel like this faction has it's tricky to build list, but not because the profiles or the selections are difficult to understand. They're kind of straightforward as a faction.
Yeah.
But they have some like unique tools to themselves, and some like the I don't know, the thematic feel of this faction is very very strong.
Yeah, and it's the big thing about Ariadna. That's why a lot of people go to it, because it feels very thematic and you have a very good idea of good self-identity, I'd say. Ariadna models are easy to see that they are Ariadna models.
For sure. I mean, they're this big and scream wolf or bear. So, yeah.
Throwing around claymores and stuff. Yeah.
Everything you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a usual way of doing it, we're gonna go through attack pieces, followed by defensive, then specialist, and hacking. Even though hacking in this segment is gonna be very very short.
Yeah.
And then lieutenant, and finally look at the like overall gimmick of the faction and things you can opt into and do.
Sounds good.
Cool. So let's start with attack pieces.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go first?
I'd start with the Paracommando and work our way down from there.
Yes, so the Paracommando.
Yeah, and as an attack piece, I would go for the AP Spitfire one if you have the Swick. Because it's in Ariadna, it's a decent gunfighter. It comes in the midfield. Burst 4 and Mim -3 is about as good as you get for a gunfighter in Ariadna. So.
Yeah, and I mean 31 points and 1 Swick for an AP Spitfire. I actually looked at this and was like, is this viable to have just on the field? Because it's an AP Spitfire with mimetism -3 on the table.
Yeah, if I had it on the table, I'd go with the Scots Guard, but we'll get there. But yeah, it's
but just because it's a 1 Swick model, so you can have 6 of them. I'm not saying you should. I'm just like it got in my head.
It's one way to do it. We're not saying it's good.
No.
But it's very good for what it does. It's an AP Spitfire, so it can hunt bigger pieces, and having parachutists means you can come in from angles and get good shots on those specific pieces. Maybe even get like this is what you use to hunt tags and stuff in Ariadna, so you will try to get it out of cover and get a good shot at it. And for that, I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like a reasonable price model for the amount of punching power.
Yeah.
The only as we will see with most of the models here, like the BTS 0, but since it's a light infantry, it doesn't matter all that much unless people go with viral weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But the armor 2, on the other hand, having armor 2 with a mimetism 3 is quite good.
Yeah, it's basically armor 5 in cover, so helps. Every bit helps, but yeah, onward to the.
Yeah, but where do we put it?
Oh yeah. As we talked about, and we haven't specified it. This is we put them in the tiers inside the specific sectorial, and for Cosmoflot, I would put this in A. It's one of your prime pieces.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised to see that quite often when playing Ariadna.
Yeah.
Or Kosmoflot.
Yeah. I would bring one unless my parachutist slots are filled for another reason that we'll get to later.
But on that reason, I mean, we're gonna get to it. But I'd bring 2.
Yeah. But you already spent 2 slots if you take that. So, enough foreshadowing. We move on. We digress. Well, the Polaris Team Alpha and Beta.
So we're down. Here we go.
Yeah.
So the Polaris team, yeah.
A Polaris team consists of a Masha, which is just a light shotgun trooper, and a bear pod. That was really feared in the last edition, and has had taken quite some hits in the movement to N5.
Yeah, it's interesting because when I looked at this from the first, I mean, since bears are such a big identity, I saw like, oh, these are Ava 2, I'm gonna pick 2 of these, but they're so big, like the size 6 on a model. So I mean, sure, you can have them lying down, but have a lying bear pod in your deployment zone. So I don't know, it felt weird. But I have to say, like, one thing that we talked about the Philip equation last episode with like 20 points per order, being light and they don't take space. And even though this is 40 points, both of these models generate their own order.
Yeah.
So you pay 40 points for 2 orders. So it's like, it's really easy to fit these in a list order for point wise.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they were crazy in N4. They were crazy good in N4. Now I think they're okay. I don't think they're trash, but they've taken some hits.
Yeah.
The biggest hit is, of course, that they went to immunity arm instead of total immunity. And the big thing is they're susceptible to flash pulses, they're susceptible to glue and to EM mines, and those things are really problematic when you are an attack piece that's just a missile, and you don't want your missile to be in the enemy deployment zone blind.
Also, when I look at this, I'm quite surprised that they have the no cover rule, but they're not impetuous.
Yeah.
Like, it feels, I don't know, there's something about it, like, a bear can take cover, but a tag can. Like, why can't the tag take cover, but the bear can't? Like, yeah.
It's really weird, because you had, they were 2 profiles before. You had the Alpha, it was the one that came with the Masha, and they were regular and could take cover. And then the Beta was a separate profile that was impetuous and irregular.
Oh, so they took the worst of both worlds and mashed them?
Yeah.
So you have no cover, but you lost impetuous.
Yeah. And
that's just sad.
And you have to take the extra person always now.
But the extra person is kind of fine, even though, sure, it's Cosmoflot, so you have cheap orders.
And it's fine. I'm gonna say that it's fine, but as you have noticed, Ariadna really, they fight for their spots, not for their points.
Yeah.
So it's fine in order efficiency cost, yes, but in Jesus Christ, I would rather have put in like the Unknown Ranger, because I don't know what to do with my last 30 points. Is a problem that you encounter sometimes in Ariadna.
Oh, for sure. But I find because if we look at the Alpha versus the Beta, I struggled to like figure out which one suits my playstyle better. The upside for the Beta is that it has the BS attack +4, which means that the smoke, which is on Fizz, which is 16, would go to 20. And getting smoke on 20 is, I mean, you always hit, which is nice. You can just make sure to get all of those corners. And just to have that would, if I say it like this, if I could have this one in O12, I would pick it every time. To have that like stable smoke. And I think this might actually be, for me, like continuing if I play Kosmoflot, something that I would bring. Just to know that all of my orders spent do what they need to do.
Yeah. I would always play the Beta, because it has the always land smokes on 20s. It also throws trench hammers on 20s, which is now their best fighting weapon, because you might not want to go into close combat with other CC pieces. So throwing a trench hammer on a 20 is good. It's good
So
and
it's, I
solid.
mean, it also shoots its shotgun on what is it, 17s inside 8.
Yeah.
And then you have burst 2 instead, and it's a heavy shotgun. So
Yeah.
it's a
So
good gun.
I would use it like I think the alpha. It's nice to have templates, but sometimes the enemy just dodges away from you, and of course
Yeah.
you can throw a grenade then on like a 19 if you get them out of cover, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd rather go with the shotgun and the smoke and the trench hammer on 20s.
I think also it depends on what you struggle with, because the template and grade version is like if your opponent plays a lot of camo, or if they null deploy versus you, because then you can speculative fire the grenades, which you would still do if you're inside 8. You would do it with +3 for the range and -6, so it's on the 13, which is good.
Yeah.
And tossing grenades on 13 and could actually bring down stuff could actually be good.
Yeah.
Though saying that, for people who play versus Cosmoflot, you don't have a null deployment. You stand up and you fight these guys because they don't like you if you fight them.
Yeah.
So maybe I think so as well. I think the beta is better. It's more stable. You know what you get for the points. It's only a 5-point difference, and it's probably going to solve all the solutions except for the templates. But you can get templates from other pieces in this faction. So
you're not low on templates in Ariadna. That's not a thing that happens. So I would go with the beta 95% of the time. So if you have very specific plans, you can go with the alpha. Yep.
So where do we put them then?
They're probably low A. I want to put them in B.
I'm actually thinking of putting them in B. I'm gonna bring the profile back up again when I explain my reasoning, because if like the as we talked before, like getting cheap orders is easy for Ariadna, and having this one, in order for it to get into threat range, you have to move across the entire table, because you have your chance to hit otherwise is ridiculously low. So you need to get into 8 inches, and this is a size 6. And it's a size 6 that can never take cover. Sure, it's immune to arm and dogged, so you could probably take a few hits, depending on the type of arrow you're facing. But this one is going to die, and it's a 31 or 26 point model that's going to die on that trip, and it's going to spend like 5 or 6 orders and probably kill 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah.
If it had a better melee weapon, then maybe. Because isn't it the trench hammer static PS as well?
Yeah, it's a static 6 PS.
Yeah, so it doesn't even matter that it's a FIS 16 model that slams into you, because when it comes with the trench hammer, it's like, oh, this is a normal hammer.
Yeah.
So it punches too weak when it finally gets there. So I don't think it can get into an A tier.
No, I think the nerfs brought it down, but I'll let you put it in either A or B, because you have less of a emotional connection to this piece.
I mean, just like comparing this one to like other striking pieces, it does. This one is probably like on average speed, but it's has so much harder to get over to the other side, and when it finally gets there, it doesn't kill stuff fast enough. So I'm gonna leave it in B. Sounds
good. I'd rather play Shauna.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Cool.
Next up, the Scots Guard.
Scots Guard. Yes. Here we have them.
Yes, and what I think when I talk about attack pieces with the Scots Guard, it is mainly the camo, surprise attack -3, AP Spitfire. It's also 31 points, like the parachutist.
Right.
But it has the camo and the surprise attack, and those two are very strong. I would be happier if they had infiltrate, but now you have to walk it from your deployment zone. But it's still, camo is a strong rule. So this is probably my favorite attack piece in Ariadna, both because we're gonna come to that, they struggle a bit in the defensive, so it's always good to have a bunch of camo, so your enemy just can't pick off your best your best attack pieces. And this guy can hide with a bunch of other camo, and you can confuse them for a bit before you do your attack run.
Yeah, I can see why you wanted to hold me from telling people to drop the commando on on the table. Paying half a swick to get camo, that's good.
Yeah.
Now this is definitely a good one. I mean, it's always good to have camouflage, and I feel like most of the time the Spitfire, the problem with it compared to an HMG is the range band, and with the camouflage you're gonna mitigate the range band problem. So,
Yeah.
That's cool. It's a shame though, like because even as an attack piece with the BS12 it's kind of low.
Yeah. But we're in Ariadna, so BS12 is prime.
Yeah. I mean, you have BS13 as well. That's.
I have 14 in this faction on one model.
That's true. See, this is only BS12. No, but it's a cool piece, and as you mentioned, like since it has proper camouflage, it can recamouflage again. It's very easy to keep this one safe.
Yeah.
So most likely you will only take gunfights that you want to take, which means that you will have burst 4 versus 1 or 2 in burst for the opponent.
Yeah.
You just
and
hope you never get hit.
Yeah, and as an attack piece, it can also hide somewhere and go into camouflage, which makes it a little harder to take out, unlike the bear, which when it is in your enemy's deployment zone, it's gonna get wasted when it's the enemy's turn.
Oh yeah. Can't hide as a bear.
No.
Cool.
They should give the bears camo. That's what I'm for.
I just see this giant. Oh, nothing to see here. It's just a big tree walking across the table.
If they can put the cutter in camo, they can put the bear in camo.
Yeah, fair enough.
I see just a big tree moving across across the battlefield.
I mean, I've seen the camo markers where they have like small boxes, so it could be a house moving.
It's a small bunker slowly moving towards you. Yes, but that was the Scots Guard. Let's.
Yeah. So where do we put it?
I'd put them in A.
Yeah.
Because this
Let's
is.
put them even above the Paracommando.
Yeah, because this would be the prime one that I choose to do my fighting with.
Yeah, I feel like this is. I mean, if I'd recommend, I didn't play this versus you, mainly because I wanted to try other stuff. But I feel like this is like a super stable choice with 31 points. If you just want another gun and you haven't used a swig, just put one in. Because worst comes to worst, you just have a camo token, but probably you're going to use it to kill something. So it's a good.
Yeah, and you've played enough against me that you don't like my Spitfires with camo.
No. So I use surprise that I can kill them. So that's
it's good stuff.
But no, it's those, especially with the AP. So like nothing is safe.
Yeah, and you really need that AP now. Jesus Christ, there's gonna be a lot of tags and stuff in this edition.
Oh, for sure.
Yes,
cool.
The Unknown Ranger then.
Yes. With all the abilities in the world.
Yes. And then he lost a couple. He lost MSV1 and stuff, so so he had all the rules in Ariadna.
He got too advanced, so like, no, Ariadna player can't handle this.
No. He can actually still have MSV1, but only in US Ariadna. They're the only one that can afford goggles.
Okay.
Yes, but he's a prime piece. You pay for it though. He's 43 points for his AP Spitfire. He's also a 1 Swick model, so there's a bit of a discount on his Swick. He has good movement. He has good CC. He has good ballistic skill. He's good whip even. Well, 13. He's not Pano. And he's got good armor.
Yeah, armor 4 is high on this kind of model. But I feel though, I don't know, there's something about models that have armor like above 3. They usually get to fight things with AP. And I don't know, there's something about the joy of fighting something with even armor, so you don't lose 1 point of AP. So I'm happy to kill this one.
Then you're happy the bears went from 5 to 4 in armor too. So.
but they're immune, so
Yeah, true.
you can't AP them.
Yeah, but he's good. He's
Yep.
he's got mimetism. He's got tech awareness. So he's basically 21.5 point per order, and he is a piece that you will always use the tech awareness on.
Yep.
And he's a specialist, so he can do multiple roles, which is a bit uncommon in Ariadna.
Yep. Yeah, it feels really, really good to have it as a specialist as well. Because, I mean, since he has both the Spitfire and the Chain Colt, so he actually has a template.
Yeah.
And with the CC skill, sure, he only has martial arts level 1. But level 1 with CC 23 means that people usually, I mean, they need something really strong to fight him.
Yeah, and he has Natural Born Warrior, so he will always hit on 23.
Right, yeah.
So.
And T2 is CC weapons, and for you who are used to regular weapon, T2 is actually you deal 2 wounds if you do a wound.
Yeah.
It's
good.
It's good.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a stable piece. He can be in the fire teams. He is a wild card, so he goes where he wants. So it's quite easy to like take 2 Varangians and put him in there, and you can smoke your approaches and move him up and get into that 24-inch range that he needs to get into, and then he can start being a problem for your opponent.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those. Like, I mean, sure, he was stronger in 4, but I still feel like this is a strong piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the 1 Swick. Because it means that there are some occasions where you can actually, just get more guns into the faction, into your list.
Yeah, like we saw on the parachutist, he was also 1 Swick.
Yeah.
So you can squeeze in 3 1 Swicks instead of 2 1.5. So. Yeah. And he is medium infantry, so he's not hackable, even though he has 4 armor. That's pretty good.
And with the 6-2 movement, he's gonna move. That's the only real downside, because Kosmoflot struggles with it. With the core of the fire teams all have 4-4 movement, which means that even though the Unknown Ranger has 6-2, so if you're using him in a fire team as your prime gun piece, he might be slowed down.
Yeah.
Due to the other ones.
He will slow down, or he will outrun the other guys while they stand around panting behind a building.
Yeah. So deployment wise, I'd probably put him behind the other ones, especially since, as you mentioned, if you put him together with 2 Varangians, so they go ahead, smoke, and he can still catch up because he has more movement. So when they do that, he catches up those 2 inches.
Yeah, and if they move full 4 and you move 6 with him, it's still within 8. So you have a bit of leeway before you have to abandon your slow guys.
That's true. Eventually, guys, where are you?
Yeah, and he only loses an SD, so so you take out the worst stuff, and then you can go on a killing spree on your own. Yeah,
for sure.
But he's solid. He's order efficient.
Oh yeah, and mimetism -3 on a gun piece with BS13. That's always nice.
Yeah, it really is. But
cool.
It's the loss of MSV1 is hard because this faction really struggles with MIM -6 models.
Yeah.
Or what did you say? Do you love shoe jays?
Oh god, fighting against, what was it, 3 hidden deployment MIM -6 models?
Yeah, with Flammensphere.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't the Flammensphere that got me worried. It was the fact that there was no way to duel them. I had to smoke trick my way up somehow and then template them. I don't know. It was difficult.
Yes. So I'd put him. He's probably in A2. The 6-2 movement is. I'd put him below the Scots Guard, I think.
Okay.
Because I put it there, not because of his attack possibilities, but because he's very easy to scalpel out if you go second in Cosmo.
Right.
And
the Cadmo for the Cosmo.
yeah, that has to be accounted for in this faction.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, he has better BS, he has more wounds, so he's more stable than the Scotsguard. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but the
if he
cannon
gets
state is definitely good.
yeah, if he gets killed before he gets to do his thing, you're sad because it was 23 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next we go to the Kosmoflot.
Yes.
This is the profile that I've tried to get to work in N4, and now I think I really want to try the portable autocannon in a fire team.
This, to me, before we get into the profile, is one of the things that I find so confusing when I use the sorting inside the army app.
Yeah.
Because it sorts on Armata 4, not on Kosmoflot.
Yeah.
Though it says Kosmoflot in the list, so
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's... Why is K before E? That makes no sense.
Because it's in it's Kosmoflot.
It's the hidden A. Didn't you see the A before Cosmo? No.
That's just a nickname. All the professionals say Armata 4 Project.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the portable autocannon is definitely a cool gun. I feel like part of me just seeing a portable autocannon makes me want to pick it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really really cool gun. I just wish they had given it +1 burst.
Yeah.
It would have been really great. But so now it's touching on greatness, and I really want to try it because it's a burst 3 gun, but it's a pretty scary gun piece that has it, like armor 6 and BS 13. Those are good stats to have, even if you don't have any MIM on you.
Just want to check the portable cannon. Yeah, it's burst 2 in base, and then you get the pseudo die. Yeah.
Yeah. So the with the SD, and you don't care that you lose, that you don't hit with all of your 3, because it's AP explosive. So
all right, yeah.
hitting with just 2. So, oh no! Just 6 saves on half of your armor. Useless. No. No, but I really like all of the profiles. Like the AP HMG that's just a stable gun piece. Like
especially with a PS4 as well, and it's only 40 points.
Yeah.
Or, like with no wound cap, it's a 2 wound model with 6 armor.
Yeah. 6 armor and 3 BTS. That's
so much stats, and with the Warhorse now with the BS -3 being nulled as well.
Yeah.
And it's a heavy infantry attackable, but it's Warhorse, so you can't isolate it.
It's stable.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the best of the Kosmoflot profiles. And then it's the portable autocannon that I'm really interested in playing, and I think I miss MSV in this faction, so I price it really high.
I was just gonna say, because is this the only MSV?
No, you have the Frontovix too.
Alright,
and then
so you have 2 of them.
And you can have MSV one on Uxia.
That don't count.
With the boarding shotgun.
Yeah. No, but because since like mimetism is definitely a thing that's a problem, and there are so many other good ways to get like an AP Spitfire or like a heavy machine gun or like similar weapons to the Kosmoflot. I think that like the slot that this one probably fits is the portable autocannon.
Yeah.
Especially if you can, and then you need to make sure that you have it in a fire team.
Yeah.
To get extra die.
Yeah, yeah. Also, the portable autocannon has to be with friends.
Yeah. And this also makes this one like with a good standing ARO piece, which this faction also has a bit of a problem with, besides camo though, of course.
Yeah, it's a really scary piece to get shot twice, have 2 shots against you, because it'll probably soak up a hit and then just lie down. And if it hits you, you have problems.
Yeah. I mean, ordinarily I don't want to face a Panzerfaust, so this is basically a Panzerfaust, but with no restrictions.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's not gonna run out.
Yep. But you said you liked all the profiles.
Yeah, I also like the specialist operative.
Okay.
Mostly because you can duo these. So you can have a tiny duo that can do everything. And it has
because you have the specialist operative. Yeah.
Yeah, and it has the +1 burst T2 rifle, which means that if you do them, it's a burst 5 when you get there, so you can use like the AP HMG or the portable autocannon to get closer, and then you can swap to a burst 5 gun within 16.
Yeah.
That's also really nasty, cause 5 shots on T2, that's scary, man.
Yeah, and you also have a Panzerfaust.
Yeah,
too.
and a heavy flamer, so it has a template, a real scary template if you get too close to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
So I think it has a slot, and yeah, they're expensive, but it's pretty okay in Ariadna because you can really easily get those cheap orders in.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the Kosmoflot. Where do we want to put that? I think it's in B, right?
In B?
Yeah. Because I if it had burst 4 on the portable autocannon, it would be an A straight away. But right now, I don't think it's an... Because A, I think it's like, you should have at least 1 or 2 of these if it's in A. If it's in B, it's, you could play these, and I wouldn't think you're crazy. But it's not the absolute first gun that I put into my list. It's not the Kosmoflot.
No, and I think it goes to the... we had a discussion outside of the pod where we talked about, like, is there anything that really shines in this faction? And there's a lot of pieces that are like mid, like attack pieces are 30 to 40 points.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard for them to shine. And this one, I mean, sure, we talked about having really good stats, but it also means that it doesn't have any abilities.
Yeah.
Like having the camo or having the attack aware or having the parachutist. So no, I agree. It's probably a B tier.
Yeah.
I just want to put it higher because it's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
In my heart, this is here.
In my heart, it's an S. But that's because in my heart it has +1 burst and -3, like they had when they spoiled them.
Right.
Yes, but that was the Kosmoflot. Let's move on to Equip Mirage 5, Margot and Duroc.
Yeah, this is hell on earth.
This is every person who faces Kosmoflot or Ariadna goes. Are there 15 models on the board? Are there 13? Are there 13 on the board? Then I have to rethink how I deploy my shit.
Oh yes.
Because this guy has parachutist deployment zone, so they get to come into your opponent's deployment zone.
Yeah. And for all of you who are not used to Ariadna, Duroc is a bear. This is a size 6, 2 wounds with dogged. No, it's not dogged.
No, it's not dogged. This is a werewolf.
Okay, but it's a 2 wound. Oh, it's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's 2 wounds. It's got super jump.
All right, super jump. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has templates and he has grenades. So that grenade trick you talk about with the bear, this guy gets into your deployment zone on his order, and then he starts tossing grenades if you want.
Yeah, with Fist 16 as well.
And that's very order efficient compared to if you want to do the same thing with the bear.
Oh yes, and this one actually has martial arts.
Oh yeah, he does, but he has a joke of a
APCC weapon PS4.
It really hurts when he cuts you, but it only hurts you once. Yeah. Duroc is pretty simple. He comes in and he templates shit. He throws grenades. It hurts.
Yep.
Unless your opponent just dodges everything and then crits him, and you get sad. But enough of my sad war stories. And then we have Margot. She got better in this edition because she gained NCUO this edition.
All right. Yeah.
So she's the best shooter in Ariadna because she has PS14.
Ooh.
And she has mimetism -3. So.
Which means that with her light shotgun she can hit on 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah, and she has a lot of good choices. She has the shotguns. She has a grenade launcher, so she can also template stuff. And she has an AP rifle. And you are... It's the only sad thing is that it's an AP rifle, not an AP combi rifle, so you want to get close to your enemy by coming into their deployment zone, but not too close. But then you swap
you
over.
fire with your shotgun and kill them.
Yeah.
But yeah, versus high armor targets for sure.
Yeah. So.
But these ones are not like because they're two separate models. You deploy them wherever you want and separate. Like
yeah, you buy them together, and then they have their own orders and move on their own. So you can bring in like Duroc turn 1 if you want, and you can wait with Margot until turn 2. So they are totally separate pieces when they're in the game.
Which is probably how you would do it. You bring one, spend all the orders on it, unless something goes horribly bad and it dies on the first order, and then you bring the second one. But just so you have a fresh order pool for when they come in.
Yeah, and they're very very different tools, so they have very different jobs. So.
Yeah.
Like Margot scalpels things out, and Duroc, he just cleans away backline orders.
Yeah. It's just I don't know, there's something funny with like, I'm gonna bring this big werewolf, what's your job? Can you hunt flash pulse bots, tiny humans, journalists, you know?
Oh, those journalists that are now specially trained with with the new season rule. Oh boy. The cheapest specialist in the game. 3 points.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but I find it also interesting, like the fact that Margot is 33 points and Duroc is only 25. I guess that Duroc is 25 is due to being an irregular order.
Yeah.
Though the irregular order here, I feel like it doesn't really matter, because when it parachutes in, it spends its irregular order, which Margot would do anyway with its regular. It's only if it survives, and then you have to spend the order, but then it has impetuous as well, and is in the deployment zone, which means you can basically move however you want. Not really, but almost. Then you just have 2 orders. So
I don't really know why why he is impetuous. I don't think that has ever happened. He has always, like, he comes into the enemy's deployment zone. He's gonna die that turn or in the enemy's turn. And of course you can use the impetuous one to move him onto the table with that one, but then he doesn't get his irregular order because that has already happened. So yeah. But if your enemy is incredibly unlucky and can't kill Duroc in their turn, then he has 2 orders he can spend on himself, and he will use those orders. Yeah, but these guys they're really good. They're like a terror for some people, but these guys are list warping, cause it's 50 plus points, 58 points, 2 Swick. And they're parachutists, so they will not generate orders that turn before they come onto the table. So you really have to make your list about these guys.
Yeah. And since you need to have both of them in the same order group as well, which means that you probably put it in your main group, so it's going to be 8 orders instead of the 10.
Yeah. So
it's like a double punishment.
Yeah. So they're good, but if it's in your list, this is what your list does.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're taking the Unknown Ranger, you're probably going to pick these ones, because the Swick adds up to a 3. Which is nice. I mean, because otherwise, like, when I saw these first and saw, like, Swick 2, like, that's really expensive or something. And, like, sure, it's a good model, but it's still Swick 2. But with the Swick on AP Spitfire, it's actually possible to actually fit them.
Yeah, Ariadna is one of those factions just dreams about those lieutenants that give extra Swick.
Oh yeah.
It would be great in Ariadna.
Yeah.
Yes, but where do we put them?
To me, these are S tier.
Yeah.
I think, like, just the I mean, there's some part of me when I do list building that I want to, when I put my pieces down on the table, I want my opponent to feel stressed.
Yeah.
It's either because they don't know where my sniper is, or I have hidden deployments, or like there's a tag there and it's dangerous, and these one put stress on my opponent.
Yeah.
Right? They're immediately gonna be, oh fuck, I have to change my entire deployment. And this, even if, like, if you're going second, you're probably also going to deploy second, which means that your opponent starts with doing the deployment, and then you deploy down, and then you have 2 spare, and you see your opponent go, oh no, wait. That means you have the bear. Oh, the werewolf. Oh shit. Okay. Then I might have to spend orders to rearrange my units because I missed that you could probably have that.
Yeah.
Or they gambled not to. Like.
The only thing is, in this faction, it's really hard to hide that you have them if you want to hide them.
Yeah.
Because you have no hidden deployment, and you only have one profile that gives decoy camo.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to hide them if you want to shock your opponent. But if you want to live with that terror on your opponent, like you don't know where they will strike.
Yeah, this is more a terror piece rather than a surprise piece.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's actually good, like for the game, having like facing a faction and then all of a sudden like, oh no, I'm gonna drop a 2 wound model with armor 3 that's just gonna double template your entire army. It's a really feel bad if you don't know that it's coming.
Yeah.
So having that like, oh, this is probably gonna happen this game. Okay, that changes my game plan. How do I solve this? How do I? And then you as the Kosmoflot player can be like, oh, then I mean, you have a parachutist. You don't have to deploy in the deployment zone.
Yeah.
You can deploy outside, so you can go from an entire different angle, and your opponent just face the wall.
Yeah, and these guys can come in from anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's really
and with
strong.
super jump, it's really easy to get an angle and everything.
Yeah. So they're really good. I'm okay with them in S. I would have leaned towards A, but yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. In Kosmoflot, they're absolutely an S.
Yeah, and we alluded to it, or rather, I alluded to it, and you stopped me several times. But the reason I talked about the paracommando taking 2 of them, that's the only way to fake out having these ones. And you do it by having 2 other parachutists. So, I don't know. I'm not saying it's a good trick. It's a trick.
I tricked you, yes, but wouldn't it have been better to spend 18 more points and actually hit me with a werewolf?
No. Yeah. Now you're just being silly.
Yes, on to the Volkolak, I think.
The Volkolak, yes.
Yes, and the Volkolak has two aggressive profiles that I like, and then it has a defensive profile.
Yeah.
But in the aggressive one, we have the HMG. It's the classic. It's a 2 wound model with immunity armor, with 4 in armor, and an HMG.
And super jump.
So he's good at shooting and taking hits.
Yeah.
He's nice. He's just a stable gun piece. Like he doesn't have AP on his HMG. He doesn't have MIM or MSV, but yeah, he's stable. He can take a few hits and shoot.
Yeah.
He's pretty close to the Cosmoflot in like another way. Like he's a tough piece, but this guy gains speed through his super jump. It's
yeah, and I mean, I feel like the only problem or the downside is BS of 12. Like having a gun piece, even if you have a heavy machine gun with burst 4, it's still BS 12. And as you mentioned, like no mimetism and nothing else to add up to it. So it's
but it's very cheap to put him with Varangians, and then you have a very cheap Harris, and he can shoot 5 times.
Yeah.
And burst 5 is good even if you're just BS 12.
Yeah, but then my super jump is worthless.
Yeah. But I think that's what we're gonna get to, because I think the HMG isn't that interested in using the super jump.
Yeah.
But the T2 rifle, I think, is a very good. Just throw him at your enemies. Like this is your mini bear, but he can actually take gunfights within 16. Because he's very fast with a super jump of 6.6.
Yep.
He's 31 points, so it's basically what a bear costs, and then he can shoot at 16, and he's pretty tough, and he has a burst 2 chain colt when he gets close. So I would use.
Very true.
I could use him as a like the bear, like a missile, but he's much easier to hide, and he's yeah, he can jump around, get on roofs and stuff.
He's also not hackable.
Yeah.
It's an HI that's not hackable. I mean,
that's how all the old HI was in Ariadna, because they're too low tech to do that. Because they have just put heavy plates of metal on their body. They don't have machines.
Oh, so that's why it has a no wounding cap as well, because like this is not a proper armor. Like it's not a full extra hit point.
This is a werewolf with armor plates on him, and he just runs and guns.
Yeah.
I love it, but I really want to try the third one.
Is the model an actual werewolf, or is
it? Yeah, they're dog faces.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, he's a dog face, as they're called, the small werewolves.
I mean, and also like as we talked about before, like playing Cosmo, it's hard with the Swick. Yeah. So taking these ones, it's a 0 Swick attack piece, and with size 2 is 6/6 movement with super jump, and also this one dodges on 14s as well. Like if you need to dodge move, and with the dodge plus 1 inch, it's a dodge of 3 inches. It can take various different ways of approaching fights.
Yeah, I've been looking really a lot lately at the T2 rifle, just because it's a little missile that you just shoot.
Yeah.
And he gets places, and the T2 rifle is scary. Yeah. And he has a PS6 T2 rifle, so it's a little bit better than the usual one.
On the other hand, like the T2 is what makes it scary, but if someone fights me with a combi rifle, even if it's a PS6, I'll still be like, this is a combi rifle.
Yeah, but the T2 is scarier when it's PS6 than PS7s.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Sure.
And he can do the classic werewolf thing. He just jumps in and then he says, I have templates.
Yep.
Or a heavy pistol, so he can do the
That's a shit. I was just gonna say, and then I can't use my rifle anymore. Damn.
Yeah. I just wish they gave combi rifles to Ariel. The tech isn't that advanced. Yeah, but I like all three of these, but mostly the attack pieces.
Yeah, I think I don't like the missile launcher. I don't think this is good enough to be a standing arrow due to it being BS12. Since you have a BS12, even if you add 2 Varangians and have this standing, and then this piece is going to do nothing in the entire game. And I don't know.
Do you think that one BS makes such a big change?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially since when you're defending, you're probably going to face BS14, not BS12, and they might have mimetism, which means that you're basically on BS9, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, you're hitting on 9s and your opponent's hitting on 14s, and you're even with 2 dice, it's like, but you're gonna die.
Yeah,
it's not good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I buy that.
Cool. Where do we put it?
I also think they're B.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say they're like between Cosmo and the Bear.
Somewhere around there, I think is good. Yeah. That was the Volkolak. Let's move on to some tag. The Chernobog.
Yes. All the things.
Yes. This is our second BS14 gunfighter in this faction. It's crazy. We're basically Pan-O now.
Imagine if this had parachutist deployment zone.
Oh yeah.
Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, we've talked about this one, you and me, off the pod. That we think this might be like almost needed in Kosmoflot today, because it's a prime gun piece that's pretty hard to kill.
Oh yeah.
And it's a tag that gets really sad when it's lost 2 wounds, because then it goes down to armor 6, BTS 3, 6/2 move. But that's hits you take when you play Ariadna. And we talked yesterday about the more expensive version, because N5 has really made me love heavy rocket launchers.
Did you
And
start loving them because they kill you with it, or is it something else?
I killed you with Flammenspears if we're gonna be be like that.
That's something completely different. That's not the heavy rocket launcher.
That's a 2-use heavy rocket launcher.
No.
Yeah, but I really like I think it's worth spending those extra 7 points to get the heavy rocket launcher. Because we did some math yesterday, and you use the AP machine gun to win those burst 2 fights, and as soon as it flips to burst 1, the heavy rocket launcher is really good at killing multi-wound models.
Yeah. And I think that, and also having, an APF machine gun, sure, it's dangerous to have as an arrow, but the heavy rocket launcher is so much worse.
Yeah.
And using this one as a standing arrow as well, I think is a good thing, because then you have the BS-14, it can take cover, everything like.
Yeah. But this is not the tag that advances up the board.
Oh no.
Because you will get hacked to smithereens.
I mean, yes. Also, but you can use your dodge to dodge out of the repeater network. Okay. Nah.
Dodging on my beautiful PS9. Yeah. Well, you can pay 9 points and get the pilot, and then it goes up to PS10.
No, but actually, because if we look at things that Kosmoflot struggles with, it's mimetism and it's multi-wound targets. And unless you go with the portable autocannon we talked with before, which kind of combats both of those problems by having explosive and the MSV.
Yeah.
But this is one or the other, and this one is good against everything.
Yeah.
And
it's it's like if you compare with other factions, it's a really bad tag, but in Kosmoflot, this is a very good tag.
Yeah.
It is
it's
beautiful.
The best tag.
Yeah. This it is real good. Yeah.
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 No, but I think this is good. This is a stable piece.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an auto-include, but I think most lists would probably diverge to it.
Yeah. I think one of your 2 lists in a tournament should have a Chernobog.
Yeah, for sure. They're Ava 2,
yep.
So you could pick 2 of them.
The important question is, can you duo them? Yeah, baby.
Oh, you can duo them.
You can duo them. That's burst 4 heavy rocket launcher.
Kosmoflot could pull it off, couldn't they?
Yeah,
you have the 2 5-point tractor views.
No problem.
Yeah.
Your regular orders cost 9 points in this faction. Jesus Christ, just play this guy.
Yeah, I did a quick calculation. You can get 15 orders. That's including irregular order, but 15 models that generate orders for 117 points, I think.
Yeah.
Which means that you have points to spare, even if you pay 140 for these bad boys.
Yeah, and you can actually skimp and go and take the 63 on one of them.
You can, yes.
But should you?
Yeah. That feels like a very much meme thing, but I think it actually might be terrifying to face. Though I'm just thinking about the struggle of maneuvering a size 7 fire team. Sure, it's only a duo, so they can maneuver separate from each other quite good, but still.
Yeah.
But they're attack aware as well, so.
Yeah, it's in Kosmoflot, that's really good order efficiency.
I feel next time, Gadget.
Yeah, and it's we talked about it. Kosmoflot, it's a struggle to play because you lack a lot of important skills in this faction. But there's potential here. There's because of the order, because it's so easy to get regular orders cheap. You have a lot of leeway to play around with weird strats.
Oh yeah.
That not everyone can do.
I built 7 different lists, and they felt completely different from each other. Different ways to attack, different ways to approach objectives. And I feel the more I look at it, the more different ways I can do it.
Yeah.
It might not be oh, this is super strong and this is going to be my alpha list. It's it's not vanilla combined. But it's still like there is a lot of replayability in this faction, but you have to really, I don't know, look a bit from an angle at the game, not like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you and march forward with my things and kill you and punch you in the face, like
That's
to agree with kind of.
no. There. This is the. It's Ariadna. You need dirty tricks and off meta stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they can do it. But yeah, that's the Chernobyl. Let's move on.
Yeah. So where do we put the
I'd put them in A.
categories? Yeah.
Because as high in A, I would put them probably just there.
There.
Yeah. So I think I'd probably put them in before I put in the Unknown Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. It depends a bit on like how you skew list, but
Yeah.
since this is like also, it's gonna change how your list behaves quite drastically. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh, let's move on to my favorite, Pavel McManus.
I thought you were gonna say the Remontnik bot.
Oh, that's my anti-camo hack. Yeah,
Yes.
this man, he's also a model that does it all. He's probably actually a model that liked the changes to Berserk.
Yep.
Because this
Oh,
guy
yes.
he's a camo piece. He has forward deployment 8. He has Berserk. He has courage. He has frenzy. He has immunity shock. He has martial arts level 3. He has mimetism -3. He's a specialist operative. He has stealth, surprise attack, and terrain total. So he's got a really loaded kit. And Jesus Christ, he murders things when he gets into close combat. Because you move up as a camo marker, and then you berserk, and you berserk on CC 26 with the martial arts with 2 dice, and the enemy gets -3 from your martial arts and -3 from surprise attack, and that's a PT2 hit. It's really nasty.
Yep. And at the PS5 at that.
Yeah. This is even a model that if you're fighting non-CC models, you could use the D charges on 20s with 2 dice, and be really efficient at it.
Would you ever though? I'm just thinking, like, I mean, comparatively to if you, the only target I would see is you facing something with 2 or more wounds.
Yeah.
Or rather, 3 wounds, because otherwise if you do the APT2, because then a hit is just like I do 2 wounds. A crit with T2, is it still 2 wounds?
No, it's 1 regular hit and 1 T2.
That is super weird, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's super sad. No, that's the because I use the D charge. Like if I'm fighting a 2 wound, like I need to kill this mobile brigada that's holding the room, and I have 1 order to spend, then I would probably chance it with a D charge, because I would probably win, and they will have to take 3 saves instead of taking 1 save. That is all or nothing. We can check the statistics on that, but he can actually do it since he comes up to 26 and he has 2 dice. So, but
I just feel like it's a trap, just because you have like 35% crit chance if you have 26 in.
Yeah, like I would if I have orders, I would always use the AP and T2. But in a real tight gamble, the D charge can be used. He has also the Ohotnik, which is a really cool gun that fights, that has T2 ammunition. It's only burst 2, but it's good from 8 up to 32, and it's a PS6 T2 gun. And that, since you have camo, you can sneak up on some angles, and it's really good to have a long range gun that can really pick off some important targets in the back. So I like it. He has also, it's easy to miss, he has a boarding pistol, so he actually has templates. And he has shock mine, so he can do the I put the mine around the corner trick. So yeah. As I said before, he does it all. He has everything.
Yeah, the fact that he can CC, he has camo, he's a specialist, he has templates, he got D-charges for objectives, and
Yeah, he does things. And he's a character, so he's a veteran, so he can do a lot of, a bunch of classifieds, and yeah, he's really stable. This is my favorite S tier model in both this and vanilla. I don't do lists without him.
No, I totally get that. Like, it's such a convenient model to have.
Yeah, yeah. And he really got happy with there being less templates, so he can get into close combat
Without dying.
Yeah, cause he was hard to use in N4. He was my missile. I was like, oh, I need to kill Achilles. I berserk him. I put some D charges on him, and Pavel does a salute as he's hit with an explosive CC weapon and goes into a million pieces. But he usually took down his targets, so I love that, man.
I wonder, lore-wise, how characters like this even exist. Like the fact
for
that
a brief moment they exist.
Yeah, I was like, oh, is that Pavel again? Huh? He doesn't have a cube.
No, we just all named them Pavel.
Yes. Oh, it's like the Phantom.
They have an ugly clothes.
Oh, I'm John Walker. I'm John Walker.
Yeah, and then we'll move on to Uxia, I think.
Yes. There we have her.
Yeah. She cried a lot when they changed D-charges. Because, my god, did she like using D-charges. But yeah, I think she went down in price, like 2 points or something. So, because she lost the shotgun template. But yeah, she's also... Ariadna has this, like, usually you have to choose what's good, but the characters, they do everything. And she's also pretty loaded. She's camo, courage, dodge plus 2 inches, frenzy. She's got infiltration, pH 19. So she over-infiltrate when you infiltrate on your enemy's part of the board. She does that on a 16. And that's quite handy. She has martial arts level 2, she has mimetism -3, stealth, surprise attack, terrain total. And then you can play her either with a boarding shotgun with grenades, smoke grenades, boarding pistol, APCC close combat weapon and MSV1. Or you can play her as a specialist operative with boarding shotgun, D-charges, smoke grenades, assault pistol +1 burst, and APCC weapon.
Yeah, I always, when I see models who have assault pistols, I get super hyped because, like, oh, can I have a burst 4? And then she had +1 burst, so she's a burst 5 model.
Yeah, she's really good at killing cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you just run around bursting people with burst 5, and even if it's BS11, 5 dice, it's a good chance to get a crit on 5 dice.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I definitely understand what you're talking about, like the changes, how it affects her a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, usually with models like these, you want to be able to fork, like having the template along with the shot.
Yeah.
So I probably use the MSV1 version if I took her.
And she can still smoke trick because she throws smoke and then she has MSV1 and she can template through that.
Yeah.
So you can template specific models and the other ones don't get to do stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, it's
even though like only a boarding pistol template and it's not super good, but she can do weird stuff. And as you mentioned, like just doing smoke trick when you have over infiltrator and it's basically in your opponent's deployment zone, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, and she can the MSV1 can also throw grenades on spec fire them on 10s, and that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I first when I saw her, I opted for the specialist operative because she has the assault pistol, because I think it's really cool. But just like she's a BS11, so sure, you can, with your camouflage, you're probably gonna get people out of cover. So she will hit you on 14s. But then it's a pistol, so it's like, what is it, PS9? Or is it PS8?
No, I think it's pretty good on the assault pistols. It's PS7.
PS7. Okay, never mind.
So it's pretty good.
They can actually kill people.
I usually use the specialist operative, and I think I would stay with her because she can do objectives if that's needed. She has the D-charges, and she can start on your enemy's part, so she can just, if you get that classified, she just slaps it next to the building she starts by. And then you can use burst 5 pistols to go and hunt down backline orders. Cause 5 shots on 11, you just, I kill that model, and you just work on it until you get crit and she dies. And you will usually get more points than 25 from your enemy. So
yeah, it's only that PH 16 roll, or 19 to a 16.
Yeah, but it's pretty good odds, and it's a 25-pound model, so it doesn't skew your list.
No,
if you
and
fail that 16 roll, so.
Yeah, and if you have as a specialist operative for 25 points and deploy in your deployment zone, it's like, okay, it's not perfect, but she can get a camo token, get into camo state again, and start moving up the board.
Yeah, and she's 25 points, so the Philip equation, she's just 5 points more than a regular order. So. Yeah, but yeah, she's stable. She cried a lot that they changed templates on shotgun, how D-charges work, and that you can't use her pistols in close combat, because having burst 2 in close combat is hot.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say she's an A. Low A, probably.
I'd agree. I'd say she's, I don't know if she's above the Chernobog, maybe?
No, I think she's behind the Ranger.
Behind the Ranger?
Behind the Ranger, I think.
Make your claim. I don't agree. I think she's better than the Ranger.
Oh, then put her there. I'm okay with that.
You just...
both Uxia and the Ranger, I'll let you choose, because I have emotional attachments that are hurt. Sad in my heart.
My short claim for it is, in Kosmoflot, since a lot of pieces have trouble getting up the board, and she's up the board from turn 1. And I think that in itself makes her better than the Ranger.
Yeah, it's a high order efficiency.
Yeah.
Especially if you make that 16 roll, then it's very, very efficient.
Yeah, and like when you're playing Cosmoflot, like the order, we talk a lot about order efficiency here, but I think it's so crucial because you want to make sure that your opponent does not get to control the board.
No.
So having her tick off order pieces, like cheap ones, very early on, and you spend your round like making sure that your opponent can do maybe 4 or 5 less orders, that is worth so much for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and it's like you and I discussed after you played, like if you had Uxia closer to my shoe jays, you could go up with her and try to duel them and take down my arrow pieces that way. Yeah. She could even sneak in from behind and come up behind them. It's gonna cost you orders, but she's a tool that can do that. And then, she would have hit on 14 minus 6, so but it's 5 hits on 8. That's versus a dodge on 10 or something.
It's a surprise attack minus 3 as well.
Yeah, so. So it's good.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
What's next?
First Strike Don.
Kaden. Yeah.
Kaden, First Strike Don. Point man of the Grenadiers Regiment. That doesn't exist anymore in the game. These were the Wolvers in the Caledonian army. Some of my favorite models.
Yeah.
I really like this guy. I just wish he had super jump instead of climbing plus. But here we are. Now, I think he's relatively. This is not a prime attack piece, but he's good in a link team. Like you can just bring him if you get extra space. Cause my God, when these guys get to fight, he's really angry. He runs in with he berserks 8 inches with +3 berserk and +1 burst in CC attack, and gives the enemy -3 from his martial arts. Like that's a 26 with APT2 with true burst 2, so he can actually do 4 wounds if he hits. He's really angry, and he has a T2 rifle, so he can fire on those 16-inch fights and be scary. And it's a scary 16-inch arrow piece too, if you get stuck halfway up the table or something. So
I can even see this one standing in suppress.
yeah. Yeah.
The only problem with that entirety, I just realized, is he got frenzy.
Yeah.
So as soon as he shoots something, there's no cover no more. So
Yeah, but if he hasn't shot anything and he's just followed up, you can just leave him on suppress, because he doesn't go frenzy until the end of that turn, so he has time to shoot some people and be a block. And he has he has actually true 2 wounds. He's 2 vita.
Yep.
So yeah, I just wanted to bring him up. I think he's neat, but that's where I'd put him. He's neat. You can just he's a wild card, so you can just fling him into a fire team if you have space, and he can just tag along and be a bit of a menace.
Yeah, when I look at him, I think the things you mentioned, like the CC attack +1 burst and everything, like if he ever gets into close combat. And then I just remember one of the starting lessons I learned from this game is this is not a close combat game.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling that that's what he does. So I think it's a bit expensive on 28 points for this sectorial.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very difficult to actually. I think he's okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and he's expensive, but it's Ariadna, so sometimes you have points over, and then he's a guy you can throw into a team, and he can just follow along and be a bit of a problem for your enemy, because he's not hackable. He has 3 armor and 2 wounds, and yeah, if your enemy is like null deployed or something, and this guy gets close, and he can pick up a speedball token, and he has 3 wounds, and he starts eating through the enemy team. Nasty.
I'm sorry, I understand the speedball angle, but I would never give this guy a speedball. There are so many other models I wanted instead.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But it is an option. It's not totally crazy. Like, yeah. But I think he's neat. I just want to bring him up. I think he's B tier, low B tier.
I think he's C.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
I'd actually be surprised if I saw someone play. Like it's
it's mostly Kosmoflot has a lot of cheap orders, so sometimes you just have points up, and then you can squeeze him in somewhere. I like it.
It's only if you like ran out of Swick, but then I would probably go with the Volkolak instead with super jump. You pay 3 extra points, and then you have a super jumping T2 rifle with immunity arm, and also still like 2 wounds. It's just better. So.
It's a mission dependent. This guy is pretty neat in a armory scenario,
right.
and stuff like that. So I think it's low B, high C. He's mission dependent, but yeah.
He's currently top C.
Top C. That's great. Yeah. Then on to Denma.
I love this one.
He's also a model that got sad with the pistol changes, because he was burst 2 in close combat. Yeah.
Though I still struggle with like when I Denma, because whenever a name ends with an A, for me it's a female name.
Yeah, I know. You always refer to him as her, but
yes, I'm sorry.
It's a strong, strapping lad from Caledonia.
Yeah.
He's incredibly cheap for what he does.
Oh yes.
He has great move. He has great CC. He has Berserk, he has Courage, he has Dodge +2, he has Martial Art level 1, he has Natural Born Warrior and no cover, and he has Metachemistry reroll. And this is a model
insane.
This is a model that loves everything there except the BTS 6. But even then, he's like, okay, then I have BTS 6 against like EM mines and shit. That's okay. But yeah, you have a reroll, so hopefully you don't roll BTS 6 twice. But yeah, he's insane. He can get like 8-4 move, and then you berserk 12 inches. That's crazy. And he's got, he loves everything. Like you rolled immunity dogged, that's real nasty to
Then you critted him to death.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order.
Jesus Christ, that was a good crit.
Stupid game.
But yeah, he's insane for 12 points, and he was
Yeah.
insaner. Because
No, like as you mentioned, like this is a 12-point model,
Yeah.
and just the fact to have a 12-point character, so he can do classifieds.
yeah, he can do classified, and he has 2 chain rifle templates.
Yeah.
That's a lot of chain rifle templates.
Yep.
He has smoke grenades. He has burst 3 heavy pistols. That's a
Yep.
pretty neat close shooting gun. And he has an AP double action. He's one of the few models that gets double action without having a trench hammer. So
Yeah. Which gives him the anti-material trait, which is really important in some scenarios.
yeah. He's like 12 points, man. It's
Yeah. This to me, I mean, just because it's 12 points, it's an auto include.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you compare this to the Varangian, sure, the Varangian, you can get them for 10 points. But this one, for those extra 2 points, is just better.
Yeah, but
like
you have to compare this guy to the 13-point Varangian because he has a double action close combat weapon.
Yeah,
But
but even if you
it's
compare
a
it to
1-point discount from that guy, and you get so much.
Yeah, you don't get Dogged though, which is really good on the Varangians. But
Yeah. You might.
yeah, that's
it
true.
might come with total immunity. He might get +3 to fist, then he throws smoke at 17s. Like, it's an insane profile. Like, if you haven't played him, you don't understand how powerful that metachemistry roll is. Like, everything is Christmas list in that.
I just looked through the list and, like, as you mentioned, this guy wants all of it.
Yeah.
Can't I just get metachemistry in brackets everything? That would be perfect.
Yeah, and he's like, oh no, I got +3 fist and regeneration. He regenerates on a 17 if he doesn't die. That's cool as hell. Like, oh no, he got super jump. Poor me. Oh no.
It's so much good. No, I think this is really good, and also like just having the impetuous as well. Sure, it's a no cover model, but dodges on 14 with dodge +2 inches. So like this is one of those models like can move 6 and dodge 4.
Yeah.
On a 14. Sure, it's not like 100%, but it's that good.
Yeah. And it's 4 out of the 20 on the roll gives him +3 fizz. So
yeah,
it's a 20% chance of getting fizz 17.
And with a reroll.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Put him in S. This is Denma is the shit.
Yeah, it's funny to like. Where do you want to put here?
I think he's above Pavel because he's 12 point. Because Pavel, sometimes you're like, 32 points. Where do I put it? But Denma is like, this is a line trooper. Yes. Thank you. He's put yes. This is 8 points. 8 points discount in the Philip count in the Philip system. Yeah, he's. Bring him.
No, you're true. Like it's. I mean, this is an auto include. Like it's so easy to add. You just put it in and then you continue on your journey.
Yeah. It's every Cosmoflot list starts at what was it 288 points.
Yes, exactly.
It's the Cosmo tax.
Cool. What's next?
William Wallace. The best bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like yeah.
But without immunity arm though.
So. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, he can in our game he can't kill things except in AR when they have burst 2 against him. But yeah. No. He's just as you played him, and I think that's how he should be played. He's either a turn 2 or turn 1 aggressive piece. Because this guy is really hard to murder unless you get a prime fighter up against him. Because he dodges away from templates on 14s and he dodges 4 inches, and that means if you're within 4 inches, you're now in close combat. And this guy is scary in close combat. And yeah, He's got a scary assortment of guns. He's got the T2 rifle. He's got a light shotgun. He has smoke grenades. He has a pistol that he will never use, and he has an explosive close combat weapon on PS5. Yeah, and he has inspiring leadership, so he can be a real bonus to your list because he makes irregular orders regular. So this means your irregular troops, like War Corps, he now makes regular orders, and you can also include irregular troopers in combined orders. So he can make you fit your Cateran sniper in a combined order with other guys shooting at things.
Cool.
And
didn't even think about that. That's
and
nice.
he gives you a free combined order, including him each turn with his lieutenant order.
And that's the shit.
So he's really cool. He's got a lot of rules,
Yeah.
but the most important is he's scary in close combat, and he has inspiring leadership.
And I mean, the inspired leadership, we're gonna get to that when we talk lieutenant, but it's like, since it's a whip 15, everyone knows that it's him if you have him. And I'm actually thinking you probably might not want him as the lieutenant, because I feel like if you, like as you mentioned, I feel like this is a strong missile. You want to throw it into the enemy, like into the DC basically with 6-4 movement. He's really quick.
Yeah.
And Berserk, which means he can move 10 inches into close combat if he can see them. So he can move outside template range and just straight into close combat. And sure, they can template you on the way in, but it's like, it's a nasty one.
Yeah, and he has suited 2 wounds, so yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, so it's a good one. But
like it depends on how you play. If you want him for the inspiring leadership, because you might just want more sheep orders, because I don't know, you play some crazy list with 2 Chernobyls that 2 crazy people on the internet told you should try, then it might be pretty cool with inspiring leadership and just some of the sheep stuff. But yeah, I'd argue that you can play him not as your lieutenant, as an attack piece too.
Oh yeah. I mean, for 38 points, because just the fact that he has smoke grenades as well, which I think is amazing on such a piece. And like, not to forget that, and this came up in our game, he's a size 2, which means he can get the jump pack. So
yeah,
just having your opponent be like, okay, so do you have any super jump? You go, no, I don't have any super jump. And then you drop down the super jump, like, you know what? I have one. And then you have a William Wallace jumping up a wall.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah. And he doesn't get sad for the Vita pack stuff either, so yeah.
No, it's good for...
No, he's good.
Yep.
I'd still put him in B though as an attack piece.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a...
If you gave him an AP Spitfire, then we can talk. But until then...
but it's cool. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's William Wallace, and then we take the last one in our attack pieces that I think we should talk about is Wolfgang Amadeus Wolf, the Wolver Bounty Hunter. Excuse me. Yeah, this guy got a glow up. He got, in this edition, he got base attack continuous damage, and he got immunity arm. And martial arts got a lot better in this edition.
This one is a beast.
Yeah, I really like this guy. It's the same as with Caden. God, I wish he had super jump instead of climbing plus, because that would make him real good. But yeah, he is a beast. He has Berserk +3, he has climbing plus, courage, dodge +2 inches, dodge +3, frenzy, immunity arm, martial arts level 3, and terrain 0G. And he's armed with a multi-rifle +1 burst, a chain colt, a heavy pistol, and double action close combat weapon PS6, and a para-close combat weapon -6, which actually matters.
Yep. I feel like almost whenever I see a close combat specialist with para-CC weapon, it feels so good.
Yep.
Like the fact that you can go through all immunities because it's a fist save instead of a arm save.
Yeah.
And when you have martial art every 3, so you have -3 in base, and then you have -9 to your opponent in CC.
Yeah.
It's
And you have burst 2, and if you berserk them, you're on 28 if they don't have martial arts, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So
But then
I'm on
use
28. You are -6.
yeah, you're -9.
And you can, like we talked about this, you can use the para-CC first, because you berserk, you get in, you para-CC them, and when they're para-CC'd, then you swap to your double action, and you just beat the shit out of it when they can only dodge.
Yep. And they're dodging on -9 because you have martial arts and they're paralyzed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he has a lot of ways to go. The only thing holding him back is he can only be in a rocket link. So he can only be linked with scrubs that move 4/4 and really don't want to be up the middle of the board. So I would
he doesn't
probably
he doesn't have smoke grenades or something like that, so you can't like traverse like independently that good.
No, he's in the slot where a lot of Ariadna is, which is if you have killed their ARO pieces, these guys can roam free, and that's scary. And you're like, yeah, but that's like half of my list, because I play Ariadna. But yeah, I really think like a multi-rifle +1 burst with continuous damage, that's a scary gun.
Oh yes.
Like, yeah, I think I want to experiment with him. Like, even putting him in rockets so you have a burst 5. That's that's cool.
And he can drop the rockets like along the way if he needs to as well. So.
Yeah, I'm so sad that you can't have like this guy. I want just the cool guy team with Wolfgang, First Strike Dawn, and the Unknown Ranger. These guys should be pure together, and they just run along, skipping on their 6-2 move, howling bloody murder.
No. You should have Wolfgang, William Wallace, and Denmark.
Yeah, those two. It should be the cool guy club.
Yeah.
You should. Please, Sebe, listen to me. Give me the cool guy club fire team option.
But when I look more in this profile as well, I mean, it's a dodge on 17 with dodge +2 inches.
Yeah.
We talked about it before, but this is also like he probably wants to move dodge rather than move.
Yeah.
Because like generally you will move further.
Yeah.
And that's really, really good.
Yeah.
I think this is a really, really cool model. I see that he's available in like 4 different factions. We're gonna talk about him again and again and again.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really like him. I'd still put Wolfgang in B though, because it's the fire team options that bring him down. Like,
you want to put him in B?
Yeah, I think it's B. I think he has potential. Do you think it's a C?
No, I think it's an A.
Do you think it's an A?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to me. How? How do you play?
Yeah. Okay. So, no, but since the way that he can approach the game would be he can either cautious move 6 inches or he can dodge 4 inches, which means he can like circumvent a lot of gaps.
Yeah.
He has the +1 burst multi-rifle, which means he gets to burst 4 without being in a fire team, and it's continuous damage, which is nice. And since he has the immunity arm with 2 Vita and arm 3, and he can take cover as long as he doesn't kill anything, or damage anything, that means that he's quite durable, like during the early game.
Yeah.
And then when he gets into the late game, he's still quite durable with the immunity arm and 2 Vita, but then he has impetuous, so he has an extra order to traverse.
Yeah.
And with the multi-rifle, which, like, comparatively to the ordinary rifle, it has a good range band within 3.
Yeah.
So he can fork with the chain cult as well. And when he gets close, like we talk about the para-CC and the double action CC, I think I would rather opt into this one than a lot of other like close combat pieces, because he has so many ways to fight in like situations where other Ariadna models really can't.
Yeah. Yeah, but does it get him all the way to A? Like I think it's B still.
Okay, his first in B. I'm fine with
I'm okay with that. That sounds good to me.
Okay. That's...
Cause yeah, he's good, but yeah, it's hard for me to say a 16-inch fighter is above B without having like a fire team that carries him up or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, and I would probably put him higher if he wasn't constrained to having to be with rockets. Cause
Yeah,
God,
if you had a
I
better
don't
backup.
want to have rockets in my fire teams, cause they are sheep orders that should stay in my back line. They should not try to move up, cause they're gonna die.
If you have a fire team that's built around the rocket to start, and the rocket dies,
Yeah.
but you have other guys in the link, are they still in the link?
Yeah, as long as your fire team leader doesn't die, because then you can't
Yeah.
reform it. But
Cool. So I have a plan. You have one rocket,
yeah,
and then you put 2 patchers and Wolfgang, and then you walk with the rocket like on a rooftop and make sure that he gets shot,
no,
or you leave him.
No.
You leave him in the deployment zone. You can just drop him, right?
I don't know if you can drop him, but otherwise I'm for you have unknown ranger, you have Cadian first strike dot, and you have Wolfgang and a rocket, and you put the rocket as a standing ARO with his submachine gun, and you're like, please shoot this man in the
See,
head.
this is how you play Cosmoflot. You go with, you take a cool gun team, you have a rocket, you fire the rocket, and then you go.
The enemy is like, why is there a rocket with a submachine gun on the roof? You're like, you don't dare fight this guy. You're
Hello.
like, okay, I shoot him. Yeah, he dies. Okay,
Yeah.
was that your plan?
Perfect.
Yeah, score. Let's go. Move 6-2 fire team. Go. Yeah. Yes.
I actually have to check that up, like if you can break it, because if you can, that actually evolves a lot in what you can do with fire teams.
Playing the game as intended.
Yeah, for sure. You gave me fire teams, I'm gonna show you fire teams.
This team has someone who got fired.
Yes.
Yeah, but those are the attack pieces I want to talk about. Do you have any you want to add?
No,
No?
I don't.
Yeah. Then we can move on to the defensive pieces.
Or maybe one.
Hmm?
This bad boy, the revolt. Sorry.
No, that's the defensive tech, man.
Yeah, sorry. We're getting there.
Going off script. Amateur.
Cool. I just have to. There we have reset.
Yes. And now we're gonna talk about some weird shit, cause that's how you make Ariadna defensive work.
Yes.
Cause Ariadna must be one of the factions that I've looked at that has the weakest defensive game. They have no midfield mine layers. They have no. Oh, Jesus Christ! They have nothing, man. You're down to tractor mules, man. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We start with the dozer.
But if we stay on the topic, like ordinarily when I look at lists, it's like you have the hidden deployment, which is good as an ARO piece, especially if they have templates. But like hidden deployment, you have the TR bots if you want to have really static defense. You have good links with good like BS or VIS mods, and you have the midfield in camo, especially with mine layers, and preferably either the cheap or they have mine layer.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, that Kosmoflot lacks all of it.
Yeah.
Like, they have some of it, but it's like and worse version of it all the time.
It's always slightly worse than everyone else's, and that's harsh.
Yep.
But yeah.
So yes, where did we start?
The dozer.
The dozer.
And it's only one of them. It's the armed turret dozer.
Right.
Because when we played, you started your first turn, because Ariadna has no defense, no zero turn defense. So if you go first, you have to do a bit half and half. Half of it is attacking, the other half is use all your guys to deploy turrets and mines like crazy. And because even an armed turret with just a rifle, it can be a problem for someone who doesn't have min -6, because sometimes you get hit or you get crit and you take additional wounds, which means you have to play around them. And
also it soaks orders.
Yeah.
So an armed turret means that one of your other guys is not going to get shot. Yeah. So that's a win.
And being BS10 with a rifle, that's basically a gun piece in Ariadna.
Sad but true.
Yeah, so that's one of the guys you can play with, and as you talked about it, like he has to stand a bit forward, and he's like, if someone runs and he sees them, his arrow is, I'm gonna place down my turret and die, because that's what you can do to be a speed bump. So yeah, that's the doser with the armed turret. And he's also an engineer, so if you play 2 Chernobyls, whoop whoop, he can also heal them.
See, this is gonna be the perfect list.
Yeah. We only build perfect lists. Yeah. But yeah, so he is B.
Oh, you put him in B? Okay.
Okay.
Like for the list, yeah.
Yeah, for the list he's B, for everyone else he's C or D.
We'll start with the B. We'll see where he ends up.
Holy crap, he's bad now. My next is Frontovix.
Yes.
Because these guys can duo with themselves, and they can do standing arrows.
Sorry, duo with themselves sounds like, hey, I'm home alone.
Yeah, that's what they do.
It's me.
But yeah, we talked about these when we were playing. They have mimetism, they have arm 2, they're warhorse, so they ignore the min -3 from the BS -3 from BS -3. They have really cheap, like 19-point heavy rocket launcher guys. Sadly, they cost Swick, and it's painful. I would have maybe a multispectral visor level 1 AP sniper and a heavy rocket launcher guy in a duo. And a bit depending on what I was facing, I would prioritize where they're placed. Like if I met other Ariadna, I would have the sniper up because he stops smoke bullshit. So he can just stand there and shoot people that try to smoke in the head. But yeah, it's really sad being an AP sniper and not a multi-sniper, because you don't have the DAM mission. But yeah, this is what we're working with. He's the good thing about the AP sniper, he's only half a Swick. He's expensive though, 28 points. But yeah. So I think these are your this is some of your standing arrows that are not like Kosmoflot or Volkolak with missile launcher.
And I agree. Like if you look at them, you could go for the engineer because there's a Panzerfaust as well, but that's 26 points. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Then you'd rather have like the dozer engineers instead.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I'd say is like paying the 28 points and half a Swick for an AP sniper rifle is expensive, and they have rocket launcher. Like if you were to duo them, I think that might be too easy for your opponent to just kill, because if you kill the first one, you get the other one for free, basically.
Yeah.
Even though they can cover more angles.
Yeah.
So
it might be that you need a Harris, or that you need to do it with some. But it's like, I would duo them like that because the heavy rocket launcher is the cheapest one of them. So, and he still does something.
So depending on like how you want to spend your Swick, otherwise you might go for the T2 rifle along with the heavy rocket launcher.
Yeah, and the Frontovic is also one of the best link glues because they fit in 3 of their 5 fire teams. You can have Frontovics, so they can jump around a bit. But yeah, you can also have this with like 2 rockets that are cheap orders. So yeah.
Right, that's cheaper. It's better to have a sniper with 2 rockets than having any other front of it, because it's gonna be cheaper and it's still an extra order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like how you can do it. No, oh Jesus Christ! You can duo these with rockets. They count as rockets. So yeah, you play 1 rocket and one sniper.
Yeah, then for sure, that's definitely the play.
Yeah, and I think these are the AE guys in defense in Ariana, in Kosmoflot.
No, but it sounds like it. I mean, just even though it's just an AP sniper rifle, it's still an MSV MIM -3 sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Sure, it's BS12, but it's like this is an okay piece.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sorry to people that I sound a bit sad about this, but yeah, I think it's a bit atrocious their defensive works.
It's difficult for sure.
Yeah.
That's why you have to I mean, as we talked about the doser before, you have to look at things in like different angles for it.
Yeah.
So just like, okay, so these are the pieces that I have. What does that mean for my list building? Like, should I even have standing arrow, or is this a null deploy, or do I go like all camo, or however you want to play it? Like, but you probably can't just go, well, when I play Pano, I usually have everything standing up. It's like, yeah, but this isn't Pano. It's like, you have to change your mindset a bit.
Yeah. And I think you need standing arrows in this edition, unless you have a lot of mines and stuff like that, because otherwise people will just walk over to your side and do horrendous things to your team, because the alpha got stronger with the speedball and stuff. Yeah, and the alpha got stronger with Super Jump 8, so I moved 16 inches per order, so yeah. So sometimes you will need standing arrows, and I think the Frontovic is your prime standing arrow. Yes, and then we'll move on to the Cateran. You played these, you were not impressed.
No, I mean, the camouflage 1 use is always problematic. I cheated in our game and camouflaged it again. It didn't matter, it died anyway. But this, I mean, it's a camouflage sniper. Which is good. It's my -3, but it's a BS12, which is difficult. So this is a BS12 camouflage 1 use, climbing plus, mimetism -3, stealth, surprise attack. But it's an irregular order for 21 points.
Yeah.
And normally for 21 points, when you have an irregular order, you're almost up to like a McMurrow, or like it's Yujimbo, or I think is it the other guy? They're like those pieces on 20 points for a regular, they pack a punch, and this one doesn't. It's
and they're like irregulars that want to use their order, so they don't care about being irregular.
Yeah, this one
don't
doesn't
want to use this guy, because then you've used your camouflage, and then you can't go into camouflage again.
No, it's and it feels like they added this one because Wallace makes irregular regular. So then this is a regular order, and like, yes, it should be a regular order. This is too expensive to be an irregular.
Yeah.
To be fair, even as a regular order, I would hesitate to put this in the list, and it's an irregular. It's insane.
I think to have this in your list, I think you almost have to play Wallace.
Yeah, and Wallace defensively.
Yeah, because otherwise I think this is a heavy tax, man. It is one of the better guns to be AROing with in Ariana, because it's T2, so it's one of the few weapons that does more than 1 wound if it wounds.
Yep.
And
it's also one of the few.
And it is a camouflage that is confusing, so.
One of the few camouflage in your deployment zone with the sniper. So that's probably the reason to pick them, because you need to pick them every now and then, so your opponent doesn't like, oh, you have camouflage in the deployment zone, great, those are mines, and I can just walk. And like, no, every now and then it's like, boop, sniper. Yeah,
and it's like the Scots Guard start in your deployment too, so it can be, is this a Scots Guard or is it a sniper and stuff like that. Yeah. I think they're B.
As a defensive tool, I agree they're B.
Yeah.
But like overall in list, I would put these as C.
Yeah, but we're in defensive now, so
yeah, but just like
yeah.
as an example, I mean, even though we're in defensive, like we still have to look at it from a list building perspective. So I'd say if you add them to your list, just know that you're gonna feel it. You're gonna notice it's like having one less model on the table.
Yeah, you're gonna have to use command tokens at some point, and those run out quickly in this faction. Yeah, but enough about the Cateran. Let's talk about the Kybervolk Patrol. These guys, I think, are really fucking cool.
They're amazing.
The Kybervolk adds so much to Ariadna that I love.
Yep.
So these guys, you have to buy a dozer and a Kybervolk, and you can buy any dozer and any Kybervolk, but they have to be 1-on-1 to play them. And the dozer, he's an engineer, much like the dozer we talked about. You want to play the guy that has an armed turret, and he can place that out. It costs 14 points. And to that you buy a Kybervolk, and I think you always pay the 2 extra points. That gives you chest mines, a crazy koala, a trench hammer, and a shock CC weapon. These guys are CC attack +1 burst, they have courage, they have a dodge +2 inches, they're dogged, they get mimetism -3, sensor, and biometric visor. So these guys are pretty good at fighting non-martial arts specialists, because they just run in on CC 21 with burst 2, and they use up their entire trench hammer stock in one punch, and do damage to the enemy. But the way you use these, as you use them together with William Wallace. You did a combined order, and you just pooped out turrets and crazy koalas on the board.
Yep.
And the Kybervolks are 6/6 move, so you move 6 inches, and then you spit out a crazy koala within zone of control, so you get an extra 8 inches to put it somewhere. And the way a crazy koala works is, when someone moves within zone of control of the crazy koala, it goes friend and runs to it and blows up in their face. So it's very close to a mine, but it doesn't use a template, and it doesn't impose the -3 to dodge. But
that also means that you don't need line of sight with the crazy koala. It can run across corners, over rooftops, anything.
Yeah, and that's worth saying about the deploying the armed turret too. That's also within zone of control and not next to it like a mine. And that makes a lot of change to how I thought they worked, and makes them a lot better, because then you can put them on high places and weird stuff. So yeah, the Kybervolks, the only drawback, as we talked about off the pod, is that the Kybervolk is a size 5, and it can get pretty cramped in the deployment zone after a while, because you have these guys and you have some tractor mules, and yeah, it's very cramped in the Ariadna deployment zone.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I would always have one of these with me, so I'd say they're an S.
I'd agree. I just want to stick a bit more to more reasons why they're good, defensive, because we have the biometric visor. So if you're playing versus someone with impersonate, you can spot them so much easier.
Yeah.
And having removed both of the states at the same time is so good.
Yeah.
And having the sensor on something that is 6/6 move, which means that you can move 6 sensors, you can discover something that is essentially 14 inches away without line of sight.
Yeah.
And it's VIP 13 plus 6, so it's on a 19.
Yeah.
So they're
very versatile. They can spit crazy koalas, they can fight in close combat, they can even fight on 8 inches by throwing trench hammers at people at FIS 15.
Yeah. And these are actually one of the models that I intended to use at killing min-6 models.
Yeah.
Because you use the crazy koala, so you go forward, deploy the crazy koala 8 inches forward, you trigger an arrow on the min-6. But then they died due to other things, so I didn't get to use my grand plan. But that was the plan. So it's So I think they definitely serve purpose. So I agree. Like these are definitely something I put in S tier.
Yeah. Get them.
I added two dosers and 2 Kivivolks in my list. And the only downside with that is I started to run out of troop slots.
Yeah.
So that was my problem.
Yeah,
Because everything is so cheap.
That's what we talk about with the bears, that it's a spot tax, and it's so important because you have these guys that the bears come with 2 people, these guys come with 2 people. It's like the equip mirage comes with 2 people. Like very quickly you lose all your slots.
Yep.
So.
But they are cool, and
yeah, and the models are
also,
amazing.
I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. They're BS2.
Yeah.
Finally, something with low BS.
So don't go to the panda, please, and grab a heavy machine gun.
Imagine, and they go out to just crit everything, and people go sad.
Yeah, it's a 50% chance to crit if they're in cover.
Yeah. Cool. So what's next?
Yeah. Next is the Mechanics Flight Engineer Core. And these are the worst dosers. Because this guy has an adhesive launcher turret that is not +1 burst. So you can pay 20 points for a guy that can put out armed turret with adhesive launcher rifle. Yeah. And yeah, adhesive launcher is a scarier gun than a regular rifle, but burst 2 is rough. Yeah.
I think the mine layer option with the EM mines.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's actually also why they're here, because you can have some EM mines in your deployment, and that can. The EM mine is a very good mine now, since immunity BTS ignores it, but immunity.
But immunity BTS that they can die instead. So.
No, they ignore it totally.
Oh, because it's non-lethal.
Yeah, it's non-lethal. Yeah. So
right.
So it's not like the CC weapons, but yeah. EM mine is a very good mine to have. So the mine layer good, the armed turret bad.
Yeah, especially because it's 20 points. If this was like 15, 16 points, I think it would be viable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I'd put them in C, I think. Maybe B because of the mine layer.
Yeah, I think I'll put them here due to the mine. Maybe even above these ones.
Yeah.
Because
above those,
Yeah.
Yeah, put them there. The mine layer puts them in B. If we were looking at the turret, they'd be in D. Yes, but enough about the mechanic. Let's go to the Raven Eye. And they are there for the similar reason. They have mine layer deployment zone with EM mines.
I just want to stop and so O12s, Armada, Torchlight. If they're in an O12 faction, you just know they're good. So
I wish they got the plus order Lieutenant Hollow Mask one. Yeah. Yeah, but these guys are good. Probably put them next to the mechanics because of the same thing. They have a mine layer with the EM mine.
Oh no, these are going A tier. I'm sorry.
Okay, A tier.
They're
12 points. That's true.
That's like comparing paying 17 points, 5 points cheaper to get these ones.
5 points is nothing in Ariadna. You have points to spare. Yeah, but put them in A.
Yes.
But it's low A because it's still in the deployment zone.
But they're good. They also have Emarat, which is nice to know. So they have EM templates on themselves.
Yeah.
So even if you
they're corner
pop the
guards.
mine, they can corner guard 2 corners with their mine. So I think they're.
Yeah, and if worst comes to worst, they're a specialist that can run up and do things. If everything else has died horribly or your entire team has been glued somewhere. This guy is the last turn to try. Yeah, next is the Rocket with Camouflage 1 use.
So you have 2 of them?
Yeah, and I would always, these are in here because this is a 9-point order that you have to discover before you can kill it. So
it's
that's
10 or 12.
10 points before you can discover and kill it. So it's a little harder to kill these guys, and that's why they're here.
So when you're saying defensive, it's not I can defend my team, it's I can defend
myself.
Oh, the defensive tech. So what's your job? I take care of myself. This is Kosmoflot. We take care of ourselves.
We're gonna come to this later when we get to the gimmick, but yeah, they can defend themselves, and that's why I want to mention it, because yeah, you can put all of your order monkeys in camo, and for 10 points, that's a pretty reasonable way to hide a lot of orders from being shot and killed easily.
And funny thing, since they have infiltration, you can actually put them so far so you then can like spend like one order to threaten HVT.
Yeah, and the funny thing is they have decharges, so you can do the classified with these guys, which is hilarious.
Holy crap! that's actually super good.
Yeah. But don't try to over-infiltrate them.
Well, you have 5.
Yeah,
One is gonna make it.
Go! And that's how I failed 5 infiltration rolls and got 7.
I'm just gonna play with this thought for a bit. I know we're in defensive, but if you were to over-infiltrate 5 guys with light shotguns, you can get the plus burst to at BS 16. Yeah. For a 12-point model, it's kind of okay.
Like, you did this in US Ariadna, then you had not camouflage, but you had infiltration heavy flamer guys. So you with their line troopers. So you just they're only line troopers. I'll send a couple of heavy flamers. Yeah, one of them landed. Okay, I'll just run with a heavy flamer at you.
Jesus.
But they didn't run fast because they were 4-2.
So rockets.
I put them lowest of B.
I'll put them in C. I'll give them C. They can defend themselves.
Yeah.
Give them that. And I mean, to be fair, like you want to defend your order generators, and these are order generators that can defend themselves.
Yeah.
So.
And as you said, they have infiltration, so you can like put them on weird roofs and stuff.
All right.
You're like, what are you gonna use that for? What do you mean use?
Yeah.
It's gonna be safe, and everyone knows that they're rockets because they're only -0 that you have.
Imagine if your opponent doesn't have sensor.
Yeah.
And you just fill an entire roof with camo tokens, so nothing can stand there, so no one can CC them.
Yeah. We're safe, guys.
Yeah. This is the dream. Okay, so what's next?
Tractor Mule.
Oh, we're skipping Warcore. It doesn't count in this faction.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They're probably...
We can skip them.
The Warcore is your A-tier defense. It's got a flash pulse through.
But I think I'm actually gonna just like quick, since we're gonna talk about them all the time. But I think these actually are good in here.
Yeah, because here they can also be a regular order, so they can be crazy good here. But yeah, defensively they have a flash pulse. That's cool.
Yeah.
But here you don't want to use the flash pulse because it's a 3-point order generator.
Right.
He lies down just to give you an order because it's a regular order if you play Wallace.
Yeah. I put them in upper B.
Yeah. Great
token.
Yeah, Tractor Mules.
Tractor Mules, yes.
And I think the only one you like. Tractor Mules are going to be an auto-include in your list because they're 5-point regular orders.
Which is insane.
Yeah. But that's not what we're talking defensively. Defensively, we're talking about the 14.1 Swick Urgal, which has total reaction. So it's a burst 3 total reaction on 8 to 24 inches is a good range. Yeah. And it's a blast mode that's a bit cool, yeah.
With AP as well.
AP and shock, yeah. It has burst single target or something like that, which means you have to shoot all your burst on one target if you shoot it in active. I don't shoot it in active, it's BS10. This is the scraping the bottle of the barrel, because it's 1 Swick, and oh my god, this is a Swick hungry faction. But yeah, I think these you maybe need these depending on how you play, because This is one of your few total reaction things that you start with.
I mean, like, do we end up in you have 2 Swick to spend on offensive pieces, and then you have to spend all your Swick on defensive stuff because it's just weird. And then you go through like super jumping Volcolux for 0 Swicks, you have Pavel for 0 Swick, you have Uxia for 7 Swick, and you just go all the attack pieces that doesn't cost Swick. And like, okay, this is my game.
Yeah. But yeah, they're worth trying, I think, but I think they're bad because BS10 is bad.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically, sure, the weapon is really strong, but this is basically saying, I'm going to deploy a turret.
Yeah. I think these guys should be 0 Swick.
I'd be fine with like 0.5 maybe, but definitely not 1 Swick.
Yeah.
Like comparing these one to a regular TR bot.
Yeah.
Though the regular TR bot, they're BS11, right?
Yeah.
Or the BS12. Yeah.
BS11.
I mean, so it's not like...
Yeah, but it's 1 less burst, and and that hurts. And you don't have an Evo hacker to give them marksmanship.
True.
Yeah, but I'll put them in C too.
C? I actually think they might be B.
Yeah, put them in B. I have not tried them yet. I just don't believe.
I think that the problem is, like, as a piece, if you can afford them, I think they're B. But it's a Swick that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's where I get, like, if they were 0 Swick, of course I would play with them, but 1 Swick is so expensive.
Yeah. But you know what? They're guided as well.
Oh yeah. We're gonna come to the incredible strong hacking game of Kosmoflot in a moment, because we're gonna talk about the SAS first. You wanted to mention these as defensive.
Yes. But we had a discussion if these are defensive pieces or not. And the reason I'm vouching for them is because these are infiltrating min-3 camouflage. And that's generally something that I bring to like all my defensive games if I can. And with that, like, you have 3 profiles with chain rifles. If you want chain rifle, you can have it. You can have it as a specialist with chain rifle, light shotgun, flashballs, G-charges, and everything. So it's like, you have the template tools, you can use that. You can fork it with, like, you get to BS17 with Mimesis and -3. So they can take fights. The problem with it is, like, this is a 1 wound model that costs 21 points then.
Yeah, and this guy is one of your prime specialists because it's a midfield specialist. So it's really hard to give it up as a defensive piece. And that's my big gripe with it, because if I play against a Kosmoflot player and they reveal their SASs to like template my stuff, I'm so happy to trade and kill off your best specialists. Because a camo specialist in the midfield is so strong in most missions. But yeah, in a kill mission, maybe you could use these to try and template like a fire team, but yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen that often. But yeah.
No, and even then it might be better to save them as an attack piece, because then they're inside, like, or close to your opponent, and then you can go forking with light shotgun, chain rifle, or whatever.
What's worth mentioning with this doesn't really have to do with the defensive, but people will know that these are your SASs, and a common thing to do is, like, if you play with a tractor mule, so you have the guided, when you move your camo, a common thing is to say, I'm gonna discover them, because I know that your longest range gun is a shotgun, so I'm gonna discover you from far away, and then you go, oh, I'm a forward observer, I'm gonna forward observe you, and that makes you spot lit, and then you can fire missiles, tractor mule missiles at them. That is a tech you can do, and it's good to know that is a thing that can happen. And they also have a flash pulser, so they can flash pulse your stuff. But yeah, it's worth knowing that there is an aggressive way to play with it. The guided game in Cosmo is weak as hell, because it's bad range over 24, but yeah, it is there, it's something to know about.
Cool, so yeah, I think these as a defensive tier is a D. You shouldn't use them. You're probably inclined to, but don't. You just spend points in giving it to your opponent, basically.
And that was the defensive stuff, I think, that I thought about.
That sounds...
Let's move on to specialists.
Yes. Specialist.
Yes, I'm gonna skip the 1-1-12 on foot because you have a lot of 4-4 specialists in this faction, and so they're meh. The 1-1-12 motorized, on the other hand, I want to talk about.
Yep.
Because this is a fast specialist. It's an 8-4 biker specialist. I think it's the only bike that can take cover in this game. So that's cool. Sadly, only has a shotgun and a smoke grenade launcher. But yeah. It's worth knowing. This is, you never fight with this. This guy waits if the enemy is like null deployed or lost all of its AROs, and you have to do objectives. You just burn all orders on this guy, and he just zips up to the objectives and does them one after another, and then zips back to safety. That's how he plays. He's very quick, and he's 19 points. I really like him.
And the fact that he has a smoke grenade launcher, since regular smoke has been lower than hit, I think this is actually a decent smoker as well.
Yeah,
so.
It's a bit harsh on BS11, but yes.
Yeah. I think this is the prime one, and especially since some scenarios have bonuses if you have the doctor skill as well, and it's also a motorcycle, which means it's the Civivac, right, where you can take 2.
Yeah.
So it's so good at doing scenario specific things.
And an important side thing, if you play a lot of bears and stuff, this guy shoots medikits, and it's easy to get up to your bears that are far up the field. So if a bear doesn't go into dogger, then it lies there unconscious, then you can drive this guy up, shoot a medikit, and they heal on a 16, and that's pretty good odds to get people up. So, and the good range is 8 inches, I think, on a medikit. So you can drive up to that and shoot it, and you shoot on 14s, and that's pretty good odds of getting a bear back up, or like the rock if he's lying somewhere unconscious.
So if you ever play against Kosmoflot, if you see a motorized, then remember to kill your werewolves properly.
The bears will most often be dead already because they go dogged, but it is a thing that in niche situation will happen. So he can do that. The only drawback, he's size 4, it's Kosmoflot. You have size 5, 4, 6. There's a lot of stuff in your deployment that's chunky, so that's a drawback. Sometimes you won't have space for him, and that's his only drawback, I think. I'd say he's A.
I'd pick him an A as well. I think it's a prime piece.
Yeah. Then we come back to the Paracommandos.
Yes.
They have 2 different specialists. They have the forward observer and the paramedic. The paramedic comes with a submachine gun and a boarding pistol, and the forward observer comes with a boarding shotgun, a flash pulse, D-charges, boarding pistol, and CC weapon. And it's always better to have a D-charge on your specialists, because you might get the classified that says use this, or you might have destroy stuff with anti-material stuff, and the D-charges are good. But they have parachutists, so they come in midfield. That's order efficiency. Order efficiency is the name of the game. So I like it.
Yep.
And they're cheap. They're 21 points, both of them. So.
Yep. It's not much. They whip 14 as well, which is good.
Oh yeah, I'd missed that. So they're better than I thought that. Because a lot of your guys are most of your guys are going to be with 13, even your specialists. Yeah.
Oh, right, I forgot to show them. Here they are.
Here they are. so enthralled by my discussion.
And we showed them before, but now you see them as well.
Yeah, and those, they're paracommandos. They're good. There's I'd put
A
them.
or B?
I think they're B because they're parachutists, so you lose order efficiency in if you're not gonna use them your first turn. And if you use them your first turn, they usually end up being in your midfield, and then they're gonna die. So that's the only drawback. Otherwise, I think they would be A's because they get stuff done.
Yeah, that sounds possible.
Yes, the War Driver.
Yes.
We'll talk more about them when we get to the hacking segment. But
exactly, we have a hacking segment. We're gonna use it.
Yeah, of course we are. You can put them in D, maybe C. Put them in C.
C.
Yeah. Yes. The Unknown Ranger is a specialist you have that I think you will quite often use for actually doing objectives, because he's already in the midfield fighting people, so he can usually touch objectives and do stuff like that. So yeah, and he's good. So put him.
6-2 move is good. So
yeah, yeah, and he does the drive-by objective pushing.
So where would you put him? B as a specialist?
Yeah, probably. Maybe A, because you're probably playing him anyway, so he's just a freebie. Like, you don't buy him to be a specialist, but he's a specialist, so it's basically for free.
Yeah, I mean it's a 6-2 move as well, so
it's really good. Your favorite patchers?
Oh, do I get to talk about these ones?
Yeah, you get to talk.
These are my babies. I didn't know how the model looked like when I built the list, and then I saw the models, and they were amazing, and I was so happy.
Yeah, they're based on the Marines from StarCraft.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your jam.
For sure. But these are 2 Vita models. They have transmutation 1, so they change over to the other profile. They have Vulcan shotgun or heavy flamethrower plus 1 burst. I usually, when I looked at it, I went for the 18-point heavy flamethrower.
They also have the continuous damage grenades that are really cool.
So they will have continuous damage on the flamer and their grenades, and then they have an adhesive launcher rifle on top of that, just for good measure. And they're immune to continuous damage, which I love. Like, it's so specific, but it's amazing. But the thing that I really liked about these ones is they are wildcards, and you can have 2 of them in the same link. So as long as you have something else that starts the link, these one can just go in there, make sure that the other piece has the special die for purity bonus 2.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 specialists in that group as well, with 13, and they're HI, which means that for some scenarios they can survive stuff.
Yeah.
But they're
sadly hackable, but
yeah. But they have BTS.
Yep.
They have BTS.
It's cool. Unless they've taken a hit, then they don't count.
But then they don't count. They should change to medium infantry when they take a hit.
Yeah, that would be cool.
No, but I think this, since it's an 18-point model, that works perfectly as a defensive for your links, and also they're a specialist, so I think they're really neat.
Yeah, and they have climbing plus, which means that sometimes they get into odd angles.
You know what it also means? It means that they get movement speed. Like, you can sneak around, since they get 6 inches movement when they're using their climbing plus.
Yeah,
so
you can climb on building walls to move faster.
Yeah. No, but they're really cool.
Yeah, I like them.
Where would you put them?
I think they're probably high B or low A, I'd say, because they're incidental specialists. Like, you don't get them for a specialist, but it's just a bonus that you also get, because either you have them for corner guards or for link fill or both. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's the O12 player that gets happy, like, oh, this heavy infantry just randomly has specialist operative. Yeah, that sounds legit.
Yeah, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
Then we come to the.
Yeah,
the
patchers. I'm sorry, I put them in high B above the Paracommando, because I agree. Like, you might build a bit more around them before you take them, like, compared to the Unknown Ranger.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
Let's move on to the SASs, where they should be in A in specialists. I think these are actually S. I don't see a list not having SASs in them.
Yeah, no.
So I think they're
right.
S.
And it's a infiltration camouflage that we base it on. Like you have them, like you talk about order efficiency. They start halfway up the table. They have camouflage to reach their objective. And you can have D-charges on them, so they can do most objectives.
And you always play the forward observer with D-charges. You don't play the specialist operative, because it's better to have a chain rifle, a light shotgun, flash pulse, D-charges, than to have a boarding shotgun. And
it's also better to be a forward observer than a specialist operative. So it's nice. Yeah. And it's 2 points cheaper. I don't get
No, that's
yeah, but this one, S tier for sure.
Yes, then we have Uxia McNeil. And she's another incidental.
We skip Pavel.
Yeah, you can throw Pavel and her, put them in the same spot. Like they're incidental specialists. It's good to
so I'll put them in A as well. Along with, since these are also like forward deployments, use save orders. And then Uxia, so I'll put them.
Yeah, especially I think Uxia she's above Pavel in A in specialists, because she's just 25 points, so she's 4 point more cost SAS. The only thing is she might very well not do specialist shit, because she might be murdering people instead.
That's like the only, because like when it comes to these ones, the SAS versus Uxia, since they both have infiltration, camo, everything, like the entire package. If you go with the specialist operative Uxia, then I'd rather always have her over an SAS.
Yeah.
Because you get the options. You can use her in different ways that the SAS can't.
Yeah.
Which means that I might even put her up here.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. She's stable. And we can put the 1112. We can put the dosers. We can put the we don't put them, but all of them, like the Kazakh doctor, every one of those guys, they're just C tier or D tier. Like they're there. They're a 4/4 move guy that can probably be in a link. They don't fill any interesting spots. That's why I'm not talking about them as specialist.
So we have the emergency service. We have the dosers. You talked about the line,
the Kiber, Volga dosers are there too. The mechanics, the mecha mobile. We don't have to put all of them there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that have specialists, but
and they're there because they are 4/4 move guys that do things. They're not that interesting. The only one left that I want to talk about is the Irmandino. Because these guys cost 8 points. They're an impetuous, irregular engineer with booty. It's a very cheap specialist that has D-charges. It has a chain rifle, so it's a corner guard. And it's just an incredibly cheap, efficient engineer. They are irregular, so you can't have too much irregular in the faction, unless you play with Wallace, and then it's easier. But so I usually have at least one Irmandino in my lists, because it's just such a cheap specialist. And like, if you have a late game you need to push buttons, that impetuous order is really useful, because it gets you up the field. And they have smoke grenades, so they can smoke on Fus 14 to get to objectives and stuff. They're just really solid for 8 points. I have also used a little trick that we can talk about that is a bit defensive too. You take an Irmandino with 2 Robotnik, the little helper bots in Ariadna, because they're 2 points.
Right. Let me just put these ones from a specialist. So where do we want the Irmandinos?
I'd say they're S or A, because I usually always have them in lists.
Yeah, I'll put them in top A.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna take the
Robotnik.
These ones.
Yeah, and I usually buy 2 of these. This is my tech against camo, and then you just put Robotniks looking out on the field. So if camo moves, these guys can spot them. And if my opponent wants to spend an order shooting -3 guy in cover, they can do that. it's okay with me. It costs me 2 points. If it costs them an order, I have 1. And otherwise, I get some free spots on Whip 12 against Camo, and sometimes I will reveal a Camo that thought it was gonna get a free roll-up. Yeah. And sometimes you can actually do stuff with them.
A question: do these follow the impetuous rules if you activate the Irmandino with impetuous?
Yeah, I think so.
So they have to run into close combat as well.
Yeah.
And all of that.
And I don't know how it's now, but the last edition, I think these guys lost cover because they became impetuous also. I don't know how that works now because
I mean they don't have it, so
yeah.
And impetuous doesn't give it, and Irmandino's has the no cover rule on it, so they shouldn't, right?
I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
last
cool.
time they got to move with the stuff. So yeah, that's a little side way you can do with it, but yeah, the Armandino is good. It's an 8-point specialist that does everything you want from a specialist. Yeah,
Cool.
Those were the specialists.
Right.
Is there any specialist you want to talk about that you think we can talk about? The 3-point Warcore becoming a specialist in in season 16.2.
I mean, since it's a regular order, if you have Wallace, it's definitely interesting.
It's cheaper than the Irmandino.
Yeah, it's insane. No, but otherwise the only one that there's no one that really fits any extra slots for me. I mean, I always vouch for the Ravenite because I forward server, but I rarely use it as a specialist. As you mentioned with Irmandino, like if you need it late game, the Irmandino having the impetuous to get that extra order up. Since Ravenite doesn't have that, it usually doesn't reach anything anyway.
Maybe worth mentioning is the Chernobog can spit out the bot that's a specialist. So sometimes they will do specialist stuff. They're whip 12, so they're really bad at it, but they can do it, and you no longer risk your pilot when you do it. So so you can spit out the bot, it can go and do stuff. Sometimes it will succeed. About 60% of the time.
It works every time.
Yes, let's go to hacking.
So S tier, since there's nothing else.
It's the S tier in hacking.
So just to show the profile for everyone before we continue, this is a full Swick hacker. It costs an entire Swick, and we talked so much about Swick being a really important currency in Kosmoflot, and they put an entire Swick. It's a Whip 13. Sure, it's a 6-cent hacker, which is really cool if you had other hackers.
Or anyone else who could put out a picture or a deployable repeater. But you have neither of them. Your robots aren't repeaters. Nothing is a repeater. You can't deploy repeaters. It's just a 4/4 guy that has to walk up to stuff to hack it. And he's with 13 and he costs a Swick. I never put this in my list. The only time is if you play classified, highly classified, and the other one that are do as many classified objectives as you can. Then you might need it because you need a hacker. The hackers do a lot, and that's the only time. And it can be forgiving a little because it can be put in a rocket link, so you can drag it with your unknown ranger. He can pull it up the field. He can push those classifieds that you need to do. Hopefully succeed on them, and then he will die horribly. But yeah, he's there. I never play him unless it's in highly classified. He's a joke.
Sorry, I forgot to change. Hacking. There we go.
Oh yeah. Yes. War driver, bad. And that was our hacking segment. Over to lieutenants.
Yep.
Yes. Wait, I haven't prepared these, so I actually have to search for lieutenant. Yeah, it's gonna be a quick list. Frontowics can be lieutenants. I would probably not do that. It's a 21 guy. He has T2 rifle and an assault pistol. No, I don't think I will ever play him.
The only reason I can see with this is it because Warhorse, but since it's not an HI, it's not that important. Someone can't EM it, but if someone tries to EM your Frontovic that you have lying somewhere because it's a lieutenant, it's just weird.
They probably shoot him instead, and then he's a 1-wound guy who dies. So,
no.
You can have them if you really want that duo thing, but no, you take a rocket instead. No, I don't think this guy. Put them in C.
I'll put them in D.
You can put them in D. I care not for the Frontovic's lieutenant. Rocket. This is a 9.0 Swick Whip 13 lieutenant. This guy is excellent.
So cheap.
Yeah, that's super cheap. So if you just want that, that's as thin as you get for a lieutenant. I think.
And he has a mirror one as well, so you can add extra rockets that looks with the exact same loadout. So.
Yeah, I'd say he's an A. It's hard to beat that point efficiency. Then we have the Scots Guard lieutenant that you can have. He's a forward observer, shock marksman rifle, 24 points. I don't think I would play this guy. If he had camo, we could talk, but he doesn't have camo, so he's basically Frontovic, and I've already rambled on why I don't like Frontovic.
I think it's interesting that he's a forward observer though.
Yeah, it's a little cool, and the shock marksman rifle means that he can do a little bit of gunfighting. So he's C. You can play this. It's not insanity, but it's I don't see the use.
No.
Then we have the Kosmoflot lieutenant option. It's the portable autocannon baby. I like this guy. I would probably not use him. I would use the guy who's not the lieutenant, because you might go horribly and he gets shot to shit. But yeah, you can't do it.
I feel like usually when you have the heavy infantry and you can take the lieutenant option and the opt-in is then I can spend an extra order of this prime gun piece, but then you have to break your fire team to use it, and then you're in the burst too. So.
Yeah, if it was the AP heavy machine gun, then we could talk about it. But in on the burst 2 gun, I think not.
No, I think it's very, very difficult to play.
Yeah, I think it's a CD on the Kosmoflot.
C-tier on Cosmo, yeah.
It's not as crazy as Frontovic maybe, but yeah. And then we have Mr. Wallace, and I say he's very good. He's very fighty, and inspiring leadership is a very strong ability. And he's pretty hard to kill. You can't just go into CC with this guy, because he will probably survive. He dodges on 14s, so he's very good at dodging. Yeah.
He's a stable guy.
Yeah. I'd put him in 8 too.
Yeah. His list warping, but definitely good, and so his. Yeah,
and his you can argue that he's expensive. He's 38 points, but it goes so quick to gain those points back. Like you put in a war core and it's regular. That's some point efficiency gain back real quick. Because then we're talking about 41 points and 2 orders, and we're only 1 point off the Philips game.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that you spend your lieutenant order, and even if Wallace just hides in a corner, he can give 3 extra orders out.
Yeah, he does the combined order thing with people.
And if he doesn't die during the game, that means that you will use your lieutenant order to basically have NCO on 3 different models. Every turn, so that's 9 orders out of your 3 lieutenant orders. And
it's it might be one of the things you discuss not using him if you use your equip Mirage, because then you have NCO. Then maybe you don't play Wallace, you take the rocket instead, because then you can NCO the rocket. I think
that must be a feel bad to use Wallace as an NCO order. It's should I move 4 models or should I move 1?
But it's full burst on the NCO order. It's only half burst on the. But those are the lieutenant options.
Yeah.
Play 2 of them, don't play the others.
And then I add there's a 1 chain of command option, and it's 30 points, half a swick, but it's a decoy 1, mimetism -3, camouflage.
Yeah,
so,
and it has an AP marksman rifle, and it is min -3 surprise attack camo, so it can actually be a late game gunfighter if all your big pieces has gone down. So I think it's sometimes I just wish I could have a cheap 14-point chain of command like some other factions, but this isn't too bad.
I think also the fact that this one has decoy is one of the way to make your opponent not realize that you're gonna drop the werewolf in the deployment zone.
It's this. You could have 2 of these, and
I'd say you even go 1 of these. So it looks like you have 14, so they're prepared for the paracommando. And then you come with the werewolf.
Yeah, but if it's 14, they could possibly. It's if I saw 14, but I have a lot of Cosmo knowledge, then I'd be like, that's probably a Zenit 7. If you had 2 Zenit 7s, I wouldn't be as prepared for that, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
The only thing is the other one also costs half a swick, and I don't.
Yeah.
That's a pain. Yeah, but it's there. It's okay. It's not fantastic. I'd put it in B tier. I will not have one every game, but some games I will have one. Yeah. And then it's over to talking a little bit about their gimmicks.
Yes.
And the 2 gimmicky things you can do in Cosmo is the first is of course so much bears. You can have 2 bears, and you can have equip Mirage that just rumbles in, and then you can have Volcolax that are immunity arm, and then you can have Wolfgang that's immunity arm. Like, you can have so much immunity arm in this faction that just runs at the enemy, and that's a very gimmicky thing, because that can be hard to handle, because somewhere you will get someone close enough to kill the ARO piece, and after that it will be mayhem in the deployment zone.
If you're really good at rolling dice as well, you're like confident in your dice rolling. You can just like go and do your dodge rolls, because I mean, if you have like
all of these ones, 20s, so.
All of these ones have multiple wounds. So that means like you can take a hit, and with immunity arm, they will, unless the opponent crits, you won't take more than 1 wound on an order anyway. So you can be very, very aggressive with these ones.
They're sneakily high in wounds. Because you can put half of your orders in cheap little guys, and then you can put your other half in these guys that are 2 wounds or 2 wounds and dogged. And are immunity arm, which basically gives them an additional wound for toughness, and that's a thing that's hard to handle sometimes, because it's Ariadna, and Ariadna, when you play Ariadna, you will lose stuff. You will lose a lot of stuff, and the way Ariadna handles that is like, you're just check, he's dead, send in the next guy. Check, he's dead, send in the next guy, and your guys throw smoke and run forward, and in the end there's a smoke path, and you hope you have enough orders to just go in and finish the job that your guys did, and you hope that they lost more than you did, and that's the way you play Ariadna. You disable their hand so they can't push objectives, and then you push the objectives. Ariadna is very bad at playing the control game, but it's very good at punching people in the face.
For sure.
So this is the one of the gimmicks, and that's probably one of the funniest way to play it. I really want to build a list now that just maxes out on these guys, because those 3 Volcolax that come jumping towards you, hilarious.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And you can put the Volcolac together with Wolfgang, and then you just run out that rocket firing his shotgun in the air in front of the ARO piece. They murder him, And then you have a super jumping werewolf friend group. But yeah, that's one. And the other gimmick is, this is Ariadna, so of course you can play everything is in camo. And everything is in camo is a very strong defensive strat. Because it fucks with your opponent in a bunch of ways. Firstly, they don't know what you have, and that's a strength. Your enemy not being able to count on what you can do is a strong thing to be able to do. And the other thing is, they don't know which piece to focus on. Because they have to be, okay, there's some min -3 in your deployment zone. It could be, what's it called, the chain of command guy? The Senate 7.
Senate.
Or it could be a Senate 7 decoy. Or it could be a mine. Or it could be Scots Guard. Like, there's a lot of stuff it can be. It can be a Catron with a sniper rifle. Like, there's a bunch of that. And there's strength in that, in confusing your opponent and making their scalpels not work.
Yeah.
And there's also a fail state when people play against camo. Because if they go and they try to discover you and they fail, that model can't keep on discovering your guy. So then they have to send up another guy to discover that guy. So there's strength in that. Kosmoflot is not the strongest all camo, but you can do it. And of course you can do it.
I'm sorry, you're saying all camo. I feel there's something missing here. There's something you're not telling
except
the
the
audience.
lieutenant.
Yeah, exactly. You remember how we've been killing rockouts the entire time? So your lieutenant cannot have camo. So you have the one rockout and then 14 camo tokens.
Yeah. So you can't. But I think the strength lies in, you can do the gimmick thing where like 80% of your list is camo, and the other stuff is just in your deployment zone, generating cheap orders and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's hard to play against, like, because they don't know what you're playing with. It could be a guy who's coming to template you. It could be an AP Spitfire guy. Like, it's hard to play against that, and it works around a lot of stuff. Oh, cool! You have an HRL guy with min -6 standing looking at my guys. Ah, cool story. I'm gonna move. Oh, you want to discover me? Okay, I reveal and I shoot Spitfire. It's uncontested. There's a good chance I get a hit on you.
Camo is big. So that's
Yeah, so, and those are the two gimmicks. Well, there's a third gimmick, which is play Wallace and put in every irregular order you can find, and do... I'd probably say you can do the I max out on Warhorse and Irmandinos and stuff like that, and then I can play very front heavy. I play double Chernobog, I play double Bears, like stuff like that, because you have
the thing is, you don't. It's actually cheaper order wise to have the Rockout Lieutenant with more Rockouts, because the Rockouts is just 1 point more than an Irmandino and the regular in base. So Wallace doesn't make you be cheaper by turning irregular to regular.
Okay.
The thing that he does is he justifies his own cost by having a war core and basically a war core, and maybe Irmandinos you have cheaper specialists, and that's about it. So. But sure, it's like it's definitely a gimmick for it.
Yeah. So those are the three big gimmicks that you can do.
Yeah.
And it's
that and the guided.
No, don't teach them anything stupid.
But you can have two. How many lists can have two missile bots?
Yeah, and it's AP shock template that hits the first. So sad. No, don't do it. I'm just being silly. Don't listen.
It's a D tier. That's
you have to put the war core together with that one then, so they see the entire strat.
Oh, you mean you?
No, not the war driver. I'm confusing my war guys.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's the guided missile.
And then the SASs to forward observe.
Oh, don't give them too many ideas.
You put it on the screen. I'm just trying to optimize what's on the screen.
I don't want to solve the puzzle for them. I just want to show them the pieces.
Don't follow Nicholas' pieces. They go straight to hell. Yeah. So we didn't do this last time, but we meant to do it, and we're gonna do it now. When we go through a faction, we're gonna put them up on our tier list of factions. So we can start with O12 that we did last episode, and we think O12 is probably low A among factions right now.
I think it's an A, but then again, I haven't played all the factions. I've gone through everything, but to me, they feel like they have so many both solid attack pieces and defense pieces and tech pieces. So I think they
they're toolboxes, so they have strength. No matter, and they're very they can handle all scenarios, maybe except firefight.
All right, yeah. It's hard to kill people with glue.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and now we did Kosmoflot, and I think Kosmoflot is probably a C tier faction. Because they're very strong in attack, but that's it. The game has, as I read the game right now, defensiveness has risen in stock, and that's tricky with the Kosmoflot. So I think that brings them down to a C. But man, do they punch as a higher faction right now.
I don't know. I feel like they're a strong C, and like all the things we mentioned, unless you're playing the like Chernobog or there's some pieces that can take gunfights, but it's really easy to get locked when you're playing a Cosmo.
Yeah.
Which is it's what it is. It's where they're at.
Yeah, but that's reasonable.
Yeah.
So if you're with us still, you survived another episode of Counterintelligence. And our next episode is going to be Hassassin Baram, which I played in our last game, and I love those guys.
They are a faction.
They really are. Yeah. Have a great day, guys. I hope we see you in the future. Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.